Check. 1 2 1 2 1 2
He's
1 2
gorgeous.
1 2. Can you
Did
hear me
you
up
say
in
he's
here?
gorgeous?
What? Yazzie, what's Yazzie so? Yazzie, look at Yazzie so happy. Oh,
Tyrone's like, he's gorgeous.
he is. Man, look at that man. Oh man, y'all better stop, man. All right, you know what? The funny thing is, I know we're gonna talk about Thor today, because it was What If. It was on What If. But since we do have two ladies on the panel, I want to get y'all honest opinion real quick before we even start. All right, we have somebody's got to go. One of them has got to go, and I'm already, just so you know, at the top of this, I'm choosing folks that I know that ain't your favorite. So one has got to go of the three, either Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, or Jason Momoa. Which one do you keep out of these three? Two of them got to go. One of them gets to stay to the cookout. Which one do you keep? I start with you, Stephanie, since you was here first this morning, and we want to give Yaz some time to recover because she's having some. So just real quick, rapid fire. Steph, who stays? Chris, or the other?
If it's the cookout, we got to keep Jason Momoa because he's got melanin. He's a person of color. So how can I choose one of those white boys over him?
Ooh, okay. Perfect answer. All right. What up, Yazzie? Yazzie, one of the three. No pressure.
Okay, so I'm going to get rid of Chris Evans because I don't need him telling me language every 5 seconds. Just saying. That's got to say their mouth, and that motherfucker would be like, language. The one I would, no offense to Jason Momoa or Chris Evans or, Chris Hemsworth, but no lie, the one I would bring with me to the cookout would be Chris Hemsworth, because I know he can hang and he can chill, just because he ain't got no melanin don't mean he can't chill. But yeah, Chris Evans got it.
Hey, listen, that's what we said. We wanted the honest answer. So if you want to get big Chris Hemsworth, whose arms look like thighs.
Just think about the accent, how well it will go over with the relatives. He'll be a fucking hit, dog.
Hey, well, Yasmin, I was wondering where you kept your Jägermeister. It's over in this direction. And the rest of the gods, they can come and partake as well. See? I'm looking for Loki. Where's Loki?
I'm doing it for my mom only. That's for the group, not just for Yaz.
All right. Ty and Tyrone, same question. I'm just kidding. Y'all don't have to.
I mean, I'm personally offended that I can't find these men handsome just because I'm not a woman. I mean, I want to be in a situation where I get to hang out and bring one of these guys to my family's cookout. And be like, look how beautiful this dude is. Like, look at this guy. Like, look at that hair. I mean, two of them. Like, look at the hair. You know what I mean? Like, don't leave me out.
All right. Well, then fine, brother. I'll give you the choice then. Shoot, so I didn't mean to offend you, sir. Who's coming to the cookout? You got to cross two of them out: Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, or Jason Momoa, bro. Who is it, man?
I know Party Thor made a good case, because Party Thor really knows how to throw one. But, Chris Evans, he's not getting a lot of love right now. So I'm going to be like, come on in, because, he's going to help with the dishes, and he's going to he's going to be nice. He's pulling out chairs and stuff like that, refilling drinks and stuff, so you want to have a nice guy there doing some good work.
Oh, man. All right. So we got Chris Evans. You know what? I was seriously playing around, Ty, when I asked this, when I proposed this question, but now since Tyrone took it so serious, you want to jump off in this manhunt, homeboy? You know what I'm saying? You want to go ahead?
Nah.
I didn't think
I'll answer for him. We already had this conversation privately, so I can answer for him. I'll tell you exactly what he told me.
What did he say?
When we had this conversation privately, he was like, I don't understand why I got to choose. Like, why can't I just have all three?
He's dying. That's what's great.
All jokes aside, if we talking about just on some who would I want to party with and hang out with, none of them. I'm going. Listen, I'm. If I'm a party with anybody, it's gonna be Loki. It's gonna be Tom.
Oh,
It's gonna be Tom. Me and Tom gonna go kick it. We gonna go to the club. We gonna have a blast. You know what I'm saying? We gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that.
All that.
With Loki.
That is the trashiest decision I could. Tom looks like, outside of his Loki character, he is the most boring member of the cast out of all of them. Now that's just as an actor, as Loki, sure. If we talk about Loki, sure. But if you're asking me, all right, I like the way you prefaced that too. If you're asking me, like if we talk about just chill factor, not who I want to sleep with. That's a different conversation. Right? But if we talk about who can come to the cookout out of these three, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, and Jason Momoa, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm going with Chris Evans.
You sweating over that?
Let me tell you why. Yeah, well, look, he was on the screen for a little while. You know what I'm saying? He was on the screen for a little while. Let me stop. If I really get started. Nah, bro, I'm gonna go with Chris Evans. I'm gonna tell you why. Because Chris Evans is the safest choice. I ain't got to worry about leaving him alone by the barbecue pit with my wife. The other two motherfuckers ain't finna go ahead and jump. Look, Jason Momoa, nigga, get the fuck back, my nigga. Like, I ain't having that. I know my kid's gonna come out with light brown eyes and long ass hair and shit. I don't need that shit in my life. And that pertains to any woman. Look, Steph is like hardcore. I always bet on black. And she somehow found black in Jason Momoa. There is no black in Jason Momoa. He's Samoan. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
not white. He's not white. Okay, he's not white.
Look, okay. Vision ain't white either, my nigga. Vision is whole red. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
he's a minority.
If you want to giggle, Google Christopher Jamal Evans. There's a whole theory about how Chris Evans, like with the beard in Civil War, that like he must have some African ancestry, so it's okay for black women to date him. It's a whole thing. It'll take you down a rabbit hole.
But speaking of rabbit holes, you've been down this rabbit hole. It sounds like, evidently.
Listen. Chris Evans, no, but Christopher Jamal Evans, that one.
Maybe. Christopher Jamal Evans. It's like Vision that we saw at MegaCon.
Yes.
Anyway, man.
Oh, yes.
These are some very, very, very cool, some interesting what ifs. And I will pose the same question to the panel as well as those in the comments and anybody watching. Go ahead and drop who you would pick out of those three. One of them got to stay. Two got to go. Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, or Jason Momoa. In the meantime, good morning. It's Saturday. Time for New Blerd Order. Let's do it. Good morning. It is time for what my youngest daughter calls Blerd Church. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And this morning, we want to talk about little what if. Because I tell you, what if it's starting to get stupid, y'all. They trying to put on some episodes that's clearly fillers. Because this episode right here didn't mean shit. It was kind of cool to watch, but it didn't do me. I mean, I cool to see all the store cast come back together, but it didn't really do me nothing into my feels. It didn't do me like the week before. It just did a little. All right, maybe it's just me.
Yep.
Maybe it's just me. But I'm going to start off, and I'll ask y'all first. You know, and we'll start with the positivity. Tyrone, straight up answer. You know, quickly if you want. What you thought about this week's Thorific episode of What If, my man?
Quickly, if I want. No, thank you. I'm messing around. No, this episode. Okay, so first of all, I gotta address the one that didn't mean anything in a filler episode. This episode is like really the first episode that probably actually does mean something for like a greater story. Like it's the one that we could say, oh yeah, there's some shit going down. Like without that, like yeah, absolutely. You watched till the end, right?
I did. Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, go ahead.
But also like, you know, just it was fun. Like after you know weeks of death and grief and destruction, which was also a lot of fun to watch, and they were great episodes. Like it was nice to have just like a party and just have a good time. It was like this little universe where everybody was just hanging out. There was no drama. They were just having a good time. Like it was fun seeing all the characters. The Loki Frost Giant thing was amazing. Their dynamic was great.
Okay.
Anytime, and also just shout out to Chris Hemsworth and his voice acting for this episode, because he was hilarious, and like the noises he would make when he would get hit and stuff were just too much. The fight with Captain Marvel was incredible. That was so much. I can't wait to talk about that and get into that. But yeah, man, I do think that you are wrong. Wrong.
Tylene, man, what's up, bro? You feel the same way?
Yeah, I absolutely do. There's one thing that I want to make very clear. Howard the Duck is in the MCU. Howard Duck, aka one half of now him and Darcy Duck. She got married to him. But nah, it like stuff like that for me. I get where you would think it's a filler just because of the tone of it. It was more comedic. This whole episode was just fun. And that was the part for me. Like I was laughing. There was parts that I was like dying. I I'm not gonna speed ahead, but yeah, there was like it for me. It was strictly comedic. I was like, yo, this is cool. I didn't expect them to do anything else with Thor. If they did make like I like that was really what I expected from anything that dealt with Thor. I was like, they're gonna come with something funny for him. Like I knew that was gonna be the case. I didn't know that was gonna be this episode, but I wasn't disappointed with it. I thought the whole Howard the Duck thing is big for me to know that he's in the MCU for sure.
Yeah, well, it's not his first appearance in What If, and also it is kind of cool to see Howard the Duck. It looks like if they did come out with this movie, that Seth Green, who actually did voice Howard the Duck this episode, would likely be a good candidate for the voice of that role. Stephanie, did you get a chance to watch What If? And so, what did you think about the episode?
I did, and I actually agree with you on this one. I just felt like, why did I spend 40 minutes of my day watching this? It felt like a super different vibe. It felt like before that, What If had sort of established, listen, this is the darker Disney series. This is where we explore the things that you wouldn't expect to be so-called Disney. But this one really felt like someone in the meeting was like, hey guys, it's getting like really dark. What if Thor threw a party?
Yes.
I just was like, what is the point? And it didn't feel momentous in the way that they made a change. Like this felt kind of typical Thor, not original Thor, but Thor of like now cracking jokes and being on the ship with Chris Pine and as Guardians of the Galaxy, whatever. Like this kind of felt like something he actually would do, Loki or not. He likes to drink beer and party. Nothing about this felt shocking or surprising.
Yeah. Yes. Your thoughts?
I like this episode. I liked how we got to finally see like Jotunheim Loki, and he was happy and he was just like in his prime. You know what I'm saying? Like usually when we see Loki, he's always battling, you know, like some inner self. You know what I'm saying? So I liked seeing Loki in a different light on this episode, and I liked the fact that he was huge compared to everybody else, like fucking giant. You know what I'm saying? Like they literally depicted him exactly how like I would have imagined him to be if he was, you know, like left on Jotunheim. So I didn't get the same feelings. I liked this episode, and you know, I thought it was pretty funny how they threw in Howard the Duck at those like, you know, pristine moments that they did. And I liked how, you know, Captain Marvel, you know, she's got a lot of hate on her, but in this episode, it kind of like brought back a little bit of like her you know what I'm saying? So I didn't hate this episode. I thought it was like very entertaining. It was typical like Thor, you know what I'm saying? Like exactly what everyone's saying. It's like he's the cool, you know, party guy. Let's get it. You know, I was ready. I was ready to go party.
All right. I can dig it. I guess for me, I have gotten so accustomed, guys, at this point to these What If episodes really kind of starting to generate some sort of, let me play my musical chairs right. Some sort of emotional reaction with the show, right? Like every episode thus far, with the exception of maybe, you know, even the lighthearted episode thus far, which was, you could say, the second one with Black Panther, where he turned into Star-Lord. It was humorous, but it still put me in the feels.
Yeah.
So I had started to develop this I guess false sense of a theme that they were trying to put out there. And it just seemed like maybe I was either wrong or I did that all myself. But this is the first episode I can honestly say where there was zero emotional. Now, look, I ain't trying to say Disney, what's up, bro? Like, yo, Marvel, why y'all ain't make me cry this episode? Like, fuck you. How dare you just have me laughing? I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying, like, it's just a little, it was a step back from the usual level of depth that What If has been putting up thus far. And Tyrone, clearly you have a completely different idea. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the episode. I did giggle, I laughed. I loved one of my favorite additions of the show was the addition of big ass Loki. I thought that shit was funny as hell. Like big blue man group Loki coming up and like being like, hey, my brother from another man. Like I made that, like I thought that shit was hilarious. But I guess I kept waiting for the point throughout the episode where it turned into something that would be substantive. And I guess for me, Tyrone, that didn't come up. But Stephanie's got something to say real quick. What's up, Steph?
Side question. Did being raised in Asgard stunt Loki's growth? Why does he not look like that?
Because he's not blue. Like you got to think about it. So the frost giants are blue giants, it's literally in their name. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Because he was taken from there, like so it showed us in what was it, like Thor 2 when he went like when he went to Jotunheim to see the frost giants and everything, and he like got a glimpse of turning blue as an adult. You know what I'm saying? It showed like a glimpse of that, but because he didn't grow up there, you know what I'm saying? It's just like any world, I guess you can say that in the cosmos, like because he wasn't born there and like in that atmosphere or whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's probably why he's not blue. Like he's born on freaking white.
Absolutely right. She's absolutely right, Steph. So Loki doesn't look the way Loki is the god of mischief. He doesn't look, he blends in with the rest of his family because he's in with Asgardians. So he doesn't actually have that appearance without using his mystical powers. Tyrone, and if we're wrong about that, please feel free to correct, but that's my understanding of it. But
yeah, I think he can choose how he wants to present himself. And I think that's more of a choice for him. So without the need to blend in with the family like Vince is talking about, I don't think he really needed to present as a frost giant. So I think that's what we can get from that. I think that makes sense. I do want to just remind you, I know things have been tough lately, but happiness is an emotion. and happiness can have depth and substance. I feel like we're all scarred. We like if there's not like grief and death and destruction and shock and disappointment, we're like, what happened? You're just gonna end it with a smile? Like that's like we can have some happiness sometime. Thank you, Disney, for giving me a week of like relief and smiles and laughs.
I feel like DC, like the Russo brothers, and their darkness is like rubbing off on you right now. And I feel like you're like expecting this to like be dark. It's Marvel, you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna have dark and light, it's not just all like Batman darkest.
All right, give me a break. All right, calm down. All right, flag on the play. It ain't that serious. It's not like I don't like the smile. All right. I mean, look, I watch MODOK. I mean, half of my time is spent killing things on the Avengers game. I get great pleasure out of that. I'm not sitting there like, man, where's that? Where the fuck am I? When am I gonna start smiling, Iron Man? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, crying. So, I mean, it's just a matter of the thematic. Like, if you look at the way we've walked away from every episode leading up to episode 7, which is what I believe this was, episode 7, right? Then we normally
yeah, good. Please continue.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious. Anyway,
get it together, brother. Get it together.
Anyway, there's a certain level of depth that we've grown to expect. That's all I'm saying. It's like if Marvel all of a sudden, it's kind of like why I think me and Ty didn't, maybe just me, I wasn't originally so quick to jump on the Black Widow bandwagon because as we all admit, it was a lot different. You know what I'm saying? And I never said I didn't like the movie. I just said that it wasn't as great as like the rest of these movies.
But I guess
So,
I'm wondering what is, because I feel like this episode did have depth, and there was a lot there was a lot beneath the surface, as well as the happiness and stuff that was presented on the surface.
can you elaborate on that? Like, what is it what's the depth that you?
Well, I just want to make sure we're working with the same definition of depth first. Could you give me some, like, for example, let's look at the zombies episode. The zombies episode, could you give me some of the depth that you like from that episode, so
Absolutely.
we can make sure?
All right, that's a great question. All right, so from the zombies episode, the depth was in the fact that they had Black Panther in it off rip. The fact that Black Panther was in it, you're automatically looking at the former helm of Black Panther, which is Chadwick Boseman. That already gives me and then they collide these different groups from these different characters from these different comics. Black Widow, not Black Widow, Black Panther, the Ant-Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, all of the, and they start off with like these folks dying. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention the fact that all of this happens because the Hornet, the Wasp, goes back trying to save her mom and ends up killing the whole world because the virus ends up, so that, and then she ends up dying at the end. And now who else dies? Freaking my man, the dude from Ant-Man. I forget his name, but the foreign dude who was Polka Dot Man. Yeah. What was it?
His Russian friend.
Kurt ends up dying. The fact that Iron Man was dead off rip. The fact that that we lost a lot of the cast amidst it. We lost I think it was Kate Bishop, not Kate Bishop, Sharon Carter, you know what I'm saying? And a couple of folks. Like it was still a lighthearted episode. We still got to see Spider-Man make a homemade video. We lost Happy. They were able to infuse the fun and the laughter and the I don't want to call it depth, but more of a.
Well, it sounds like what you're looking for is consequence. Like you want people to like. Not you want people to, but you're used to seeing people suffer some sort of consequence because you just listed a bunch of death is what happened just now. You're like, here's who died, this person died, everybody died, the whole world died.
Also, the fact that, like I said, it was sparked by, it was sparked out of desperation. The young lady who I can't remember her name right now, it's going to come to me. It's early in the morning, but the young lady who plays the Wasp. Her desire to get the fam back together is ultimately the whole reason. So that also leads to her self-sacrifice. So, they could have done all that lightheartedly, but that, in my opinion, is what Marvel typically does. What I love about Marvel is that they have learned that we don't have to always be constantly good versus evil. It's not always, arbitrary, good person, benevolent, and versus bad evil take over the planet. Like it's two different mindsets, and they just in this particular episode, it was just there's no Loki, so he inhabits the mischievous aspect of it, and that's it. And
I think it was more because Loki's presence was not in the family, in the Odin family, in the Odinson family. His effect on Thor wasn't there, so Thor ended up being a different person. It wasn't so much. Loki didn't fuck everything up. It was more like they just, he didn't get brought up by a shitty parent. So because Loki didn't get brought up by a shitty parent, he went on to be like, just a good old prince. He's having a good time and stuff like that. Thor never got the challenges that he had because of Loki, and never became an Avenger and things like that. Like it was, huge consequences. Like all this was like, pre-Avengers. There seemed to be not a lot of drama in the realms. Like things seemed pretty chill. It looks like Loki's effect on the realms seems to be one of a lot of consequence. If he's left, if he's not taken care of, if he's not raised well, then he ends up becoming kind of a problem for everybody.
Talene, what was you saying? You had something?
Yeah. I was just gonna say that this episode really kind of, I think Marvel is really systematic about the way and the way they're approaching these what if episodes. Because we have all of these new Marvel movies that are coming out. We're aware of Captain Marvel 2 in the works. I think when you see something so lighthearted as this comedic episode, you miss the key elements and the key parts of it. Those action scenes between Captain Marvel and Thor. This, like, if you really pay attention to what was just showcased there, whenever the Earth feels like it's, we can't handle this, they got a personal pager, a beeper to beat this person, and when she pulls up, all bets off. And it's like that's how they was showing you when she pulled up and was like, look, party over, and they thought it was a joke. This is what they're trying to set up and show you, like, just to give you a glimpse of Captain Marvel, whether you like her character or the actress that plays her character, she is nothing to play with. Like, she is absolutely nothing to play with. We see this whole fight scene. We see Howard the Duck. We see I mean, we might as well go ahead and into the the Ultron scene and everything like that. And by the way, nobody mentioned the fact that Thor had sex with Jane. Sex. Like, low key, nobody is talking about that except Darcy. Darcy was like, "Oh, is that what the kids are calling it these days?"
Yeah, Darcy was awesome. Real quick, you touched on Captain Marvel, and before we move on from Captain Marvel, she said something really important in this episode. She said that her full power could punch a hole through this planet. Yeah. So, like, basically, she's so powerful that she's constantly having to limit her power so she doesn't just destroy everybody.
Bro,
so that's huge.
Absorb the sun, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. It's a huge statement because we think of, like, we like to look back at like, oh, why she almost got beat up by Thanos or whatever. Like, she was the only one who, kind of gave him some business, but like, she could have easily just punched a hole through the planet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're establishing that her power is nearly limitless.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's true. But I mean, just to kind of go back at some of the stuff Ty was saying, like, we already knew all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything y'all saying, we already knew, with the exception of the sex part. Like, we knew that Captain Marvel is from the 80s. So that's how she got contacted at the end of Infinity War, was with Nick Fury paging her on her Skytail or Motorola, whichever one it was. We knew that Captain Marvel was like the missing link that the Avengers needed to beat Thanos. So we already knew that her power was greater than anybody on the face of the earth, at least at the time. And it was cool to see two homegrown Celestials, because we don't really know. I mean, not by definition of the term Celestials in terms of, like, the comic book characters, but people that are of the stars, basically,
like intergalactic beings.
To go head to head. That was all cool. It was all fine and dandy. It was cute, though. It was cute. Let's keep it real. Like, it wasn't like they was fighting. It was not. It was a spar. It wasn't like they was trying to, like, really rip each other's head off. That's the point.
But that's the whole point of why they did this episode again, and why I just made that point, is because even though you just said everything that you said about Captain Marvel, you still downplayed her fight at the end of it, after saying everything.
Well, she didn't kill Thor.
Yeah, my point, and that's kind of the point that I'm making about her, is that you remember the movie The Five Heartbeats? Of course, you remember everybody in the group, like, at one point thought they was the lead singer. You know what I mean? Like, everybody at one point thought they was the lead singer. We all gonna go to a show. We all gonna sing. We all gonna battle each other on stage. That's what it is. This is what Captain Marvel is facing right now. She's the baddest bitch in the motherfucking MCU when it comes to the Avengers, but yet we still downplay her. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're just like, oh yeah, we already knew that about her. No, not until you hear some of this. Like, yo, I have to hold my power back. If I use the full force of my power, I would punch a hole through the planet.
But they gave us a Marvel Dragon Ball Z episode with Captain Marvel and Thor. Cool. that was an amazing fight.
That was cool. Stephanie,
I wanted your thoughts on. I was watching the episode. I was not sure about this. When they got Thor out in the desert and we're talking about sending the nukes, were they trying to murder him? Like, were they trying to kill Thor at that point? Do you really want a war with the gods of Asgard? Because it sounded like their goal was to kill him at that point.
Now you're talking about in the desert. Now this is all taken from the first movie Thor. If I'm not mistaken, Tyrone, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you had a chance to see the movie, but in the movie he came down in the desert. It was most of the movie was plot. So I think that this is when the timelines were still kind of merged before it turned into, what if Thor, where it's just all about partying. So yes, originally the objective wasn't to kill him. I think it was to feel like, who the fuck is this dropping this shit? Like,
no, I mean when Captain Marvel took him out in the desert, and they were just like,
"Oh yes,
go off, sis!
Yes.
And we're gonna send nukes." Like the goal was murder him at that point.
Because all they knew about him. Well, all they knew about him was that he was just this dude that showed up and started just wrecking shit. Like they didn't know anything. Like they knew that he was not from Earth. They eventually figured, I think, that he was Asgardian or whatever, that he was Thor, and all that stuff. But they had no prior relationship to Thor in this universe, because none of the stuff from any of the MC movies outside of Earth had happened. So like they have no history with Thor. So they're like, this guy is going to mess our planet up. So our only option is to nuke him. It wouldn't have worked. He would have been fine, but like they didn't know that.
That is some white people shit. Because he didn't hurt anybody. All he did was property damage, and they wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
Burn it down.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tyrone.
Oh no, I'm just throwing in jokes.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say, you know what? It was all fine and dandy until I seen this motherfucker pick up the arch out of St. Louis, and I was like, nah, man, we can't be playing around with that shit, man. Like,
that was hilarious.
I was like, nah, bro, you know what I'm saying? Calm your ass down. Like, you finna use my shit for no motherfucking double dutch or whatever the fuck.
They're about to make the world's greatest slingshot.
Slingshot, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many other places he could have did that with. But he's like, oh yeah, we just left from St. Louis, so we picked up on that. No, nigga, you didn't pick up shit. Goddamn it, you went to the wrong area. If you didn't get fucked with, I do think that one of the lighter parts about the show is the fact that like they're literally just doing dumb shit like playing beach ball, and he's putting like they're vandalizing the Mount Rushmore, and you know what I'm saying, doing all this dumb
which was vandalism
shit,
in itself.
around.
This was every college movie.
There it is. Yep.
That's what this was. I mean, but and it was fun. Like it was like, yo, my mom's on my like the way he hit the panic. Like yo, like he was like once he asked everybody for help, and everybody was like, nah, man, shit, it ain't my mom. You know what I mean? Like, yo, hey, it ain't my mom. What did the level of anger that he was able, I am the God. You know what I mean?
My mom is coming.
Yeah, my mom. That moment right there for me, I bust out laughing. I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. When his mom got there and all of the Asgardians were sitting Indian style. Just
cultural exchange.
That
was perfect. It was like the Cause movies, like, or a John Hughes movie, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Absolutely. And like those old like the Breakfast Club type movies where they're just getting into like lighthearted shenanigans where like we don't have to like mourn somebody's death or anything like that. We could just like, we're okay for now. Like, and that's it's nice. This is me giving you an e-hug, Vince. I just want to give you this. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. All right. I mean, listen, I'm not begging for disdain and despair out of these episodes. I'm just saying that's what I feel like we've grown.
Come here. It's okay. Come here. It's okay.
All right, man. Let's do it, bro. Goddamn.
There we go. Yeah, we're gonna e-hug. There we go.
Tyrone.
Thank you, man.
What's that? Irish Spring? What's that? What is that?
That's last night's vodka.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it. Don't get me wrong. I know it sounds like I hated the episode. I didn't hate the episode. I just was a little thrown off because, like I said, it just wasn't what I had grown to expect. And I should also I think it was a good reminder of the fact that Marvel is very good at this thing called humor. And I may need to dial it back and not take the shit so serious. I mean, it is, after all, a show based on comic book characters that don't exist in real life. And I'm sitting there like, well, why didn't he make me cry, man? Where's the drama? Where's the function? Where's the denouement? Where did the plot turn into? Like, come on, bro. It's like, yo, it's just a fucking cartoon about some superhero cats. Oh, excuse me. About some superheroes that we happen to like, and I may have gotten a little carried away with the fact that they've done such a good job at portraying plot lines that we don't even get to see in a lot of actual TV shows. So forgive me for expecting more of a tear-jerking saga from What If, when that's what they've been feeding us, even inadvertently. You know what I'm saying? So it just was a little weird. I was expecting that, but I mean the Ultron scene is questionable though. Like, what is it that they really trying to say? Like, what exactly happened? I know Yaz must have flipped through the freaking screen when she saw Ultron. It's like her favorite character. Like, what was your thoughts about Ultron popping up, Yaz? I mean, if you recall, I know it came out on Wednesday, but
yeah, Austin was sitting next to me on the couch, and you know me, I get all like excited when I see him, so I was just like, oh shit. And he was just like, you're serious right now? Like, why do you love the fucking robot? And I'm just like, I was just like dying. I was like, oh my god, why did it have to end? No. So yeah, it was pretty great. Yeah, I love the incorporation of Vision inside of Ultron's body. That was like the coolest thing ever. Like I wasn't gonna lie, I got even more geeked up at it. I was like, oh, Vision's bad. Yeah, it was good. It's a good time. And he had all the Infinity Stones. Like, oh, I want to fuck some shit up. Like when I realized that he had like the suit of the Infinity Stones and it was an Ultron suit. Oh man, no, I had to pause and was just like, look how beautiful this is right now. This right here is how AI will take the fuck over right here. Like, yes.
Yeah. That part. Yeah, that part is true, man. I mean, you can't go wrong with all 5 Infinity Stones if you are AI. That's some true Terminator shit. Like,
unless he was stuck in the TVA, then he'd be like kind of fucked.
Well, Infinity Stones, there's a lot of questions here, and because Infinity Stones don't work outside of the reality they were created in. So if he's using them to jump into other realities, then they will get him there, and then he's just kind of on his own, or with his giant army of Ultron drones or whatever. But yeah, like this, I don't know what to think. The part that got me was when the Watcher was like, wait, what? Like because this dude's supposed to know everything. Like he's supposed to know and see everything. And that caught him off guard. He was like, he saw it and he was like, hold on, some shit's wrong here. Yeah. He was like, he's like, I got to go talk to my supervisor real quick because this is off. That's huge. Like that, it got me. I got chills when he did that because in that moment, it told me that like everything has changed. The next 2 episodes, I think the last 2 episodes of the show are going to be consequences from Ultron showing up.
Oh, predictions. Okay.
Well,
absolutely.
I'm all about that life. You already.
Yeah. I knew Yaz was so happy when that happened. By the way, I do want to just mention, not to brag, but I did call Ultron last week.
You did, and no lie, yep. I will also say no lie. Right after I got all geeked up, I was like, "Yo, Tyrone was right." And Austin was just dying. He was just like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "I love you, guys." Too funny. I'm just like, yes.
Now, I did not call Vision, Ultron, Infinity Stones crazy. You know what I mean? I didn't call all that craziness. That was insanity. Loved it so much. But yeah, it's going to be huge. I think this maybe he came from a universe or a reality where the Avengers never stopped Ultron from creating Vision as a new body for himself. So and that's why we are where we are now. Without the Avengers checking him at that point, he was just too powerful and just took over everything, and is now just continuing to take over anything that he feels he wants to get his hands on. So I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, just to kind of just bring this into context real quick before we move on to Titans. Stephanie, you've joined us these last few weeks, and thank you. Your presence is definitely felt. But I think you may have missed knowing us when we were when we were dissecting this show called WandaVision, which I hope you get to catch up to if you haven't already. And WandaVision, it basically brought us into a world of what ifs in which we were constantly every week trying to predict who's the real villain, who could it be in real life. We don't know if it's Mephisto. Is it? And so like every week, like Ty would be like, "Yo, it's Mephisto. I know, I got it. I looked it up. It's in the comic book. I know it's Mephisto." And then Yaz would be like, "No, dog, you don't know. Like it could be Ultron, dog. Like it could be Ultron." And we'd be like, "Man, what the fuck, man? No, it's not, man. It's probably gonna be Black Bolt, you know." And or you know, we started making like all these different assumptions. It's but every week, there came a point in time when even Ty was like, I don't know, it may not be Mephisto, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like, no, it's Ultron. It's definitely like she was
Sparky showed up and she was like, Ultron?
so the running theme just came like this. We just always was like, yo, yeah, it's Ultron. She'd be like, oh, I know it. So that's kind of where this is coming from for you and anybody else who may have started following us and joining us since we after that show. This is kind of where
I want to.
So excited.
Can we make this a new segment where you gleefully explain jokes from that have gone on? And that was amazing. I enjoyed the shit out of that. Like whoever got to experience that whole thing for the first time. Man, I'm jealous. I'm so jealous.
Well, it was dope. She was not backing down, bro. We was like, yo, it didn't matter what it was. Like there'd be like a red Christmas tree ornament in the background. Like, if you freeze frame it at 4 minutes and 41 seconds, and you look in the back, there's a ball on the tree and it's red, and you know what that means? Ultron. I don't know if that's what that means. She's like, dog, if you think about it, like it only makes sense, and it always made sense. So it's dope for her to finally get to look up on her screen and gaze upon the guy she's conjured up after all of these different sketches. Man. So
I just love his whole like I was on Earth for like 10 minutes and I just want to kill everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I love him. I'm sorry. Like I just he's my spirit animal, you know, like he's like the internet's ruining you people. What the fuck's wrong with y'all? Like
but Yaz, when this Ultron, when everybody's like, oh man, Ultron's the best villain, like Yaz is gonna be the one that's like, I've been on this train for years.
I'm like, finally, you can join me. I will open up space for you.
At this point, Yaz is the Ultron train. Like this, like we're just riding Yaz's we're riding Yaz's love for Ultron at this point.
Yeah, basically,
I think low key everybody is just you know, I think Thor is known for his parties like across the galaxy.
Yeah.
And I think Ultron showed up for the party and the party was over. And you know, that's the part we didn't get to see is that he actually brought his own dance squad because he knew that it was going to be a battle. And yeah, like he brought the team. Like he was like, okay, we gonna go and we gonna shut this shit down at the party. They gonna know we came, we did, we saw, we conquered. You know how it is. But I'm just saying, man. Yo, we gotta check out Ultron in the next episode because I definitely think we're gonna see him again.
Mm-hmm.
So you think this is like Marvel's version of Stomp the Yard? Like,
you got
served. Yeah, there it
is. Check it. We totally ignored the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy were there. Now, this is a whole different reality, one that Thor is not Loki's brother, which means he could possibly not even be an Avenger, which he isn't an Avenger because the Earth doesn't even know him. So why are the Guardians of the Galaxy there?
I mean, the same reason Howard the Duck is there. I mean, everybody is.
I'm just saying that everybody knows that when Thor throws a party, everybody in the galaxy's got to be there. And I think Ultron heard that, you know, Thor was throwing another party and he was like, yo, this is our chance. We've been practicing.
Well, and then he heard that Thor was throwing a party, but he didn't get an invite. And that's why he was pissed. He was like, oh, they want to do it like that. I'm going to show up with my boys. And we're going to see how this party goes.
Yeah.
Well, I do like the fact that Earth is some hidden realm. Like, you know, it was on Asgard, like, no, we're going to take you to a place where you've never gone before with Earth, where there's waters and hills and mountains. It's like a nether realm. It's like Earth, like that's the Bifrost goes directly to, like, remember,
he called it like he called it like a backwater or backwood planet or something like that. Like it was just, I think he was just basically throwing shade. He was like, nobody cares about this place.
Of course, I've heard of a little bullshit ass backwards planet where we could have a little party, you know. And I like the fact that I was hoping that they would let Heimdall speak, you know, but I like that they kept them in Idris Elba's likeness. But I wish he did a little more, and I do think it's hilarious that it was just like my mom like just basically takes the first Bifrost like it's the train, you know what I'm saying? Takes the first Bifrost directly to Arizona, wherever the fuck he is, and then ends up right there to tell him about himself. All right, Thor, I will give you this episode. It was fun.
We got him, folks. We did it.
It was fun. I mean, it wasn't my favorite. I still think that the last episode was completely ridiculous. And I still love the two Black Panther centric episodes. I think they take the cake, like, and they had humor, but the depth in it, like what you walk away feeling when Killmonger says, "You gonna wear the suit of the oppressor?" You know what I'm saying? Like again, you're like, "Oh, that's right. I remember. I loved you." You know what I'm saying? And like those momentous scenes that we don't get in these playful episodes, I'm cool with, but just know that I kind of like the more well-rounded. I feel like this one was more on the. It was more like, yo, don't forget, y'all, don't take this shit. It's almost as if they got the memo that I was like really like we're really getting dragged into the drama aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? They were like, yo, hold on, bro. Let's just make sure you remember that these is just, you know, animated characters on a show that's 26 minutes on your screen. You know what I'm saying? So
well, can I give you a little something to be excited about? Because I do think that this, you know, that we're gonna see some consequences, and we're gonna see things like really play out in an interesting way. And I also think that we're probably gonna end up seeing T'Challa again, more than likely that Star-Lord T'Challa. That's what I think is gonna happen. I think we're gonna see him again, and maybe a pretty big role. So I think you have a lot to be excited about.
You think so? You're thinking that these are going to tie together, like that these episodes in the long run are going to come back and somehow coalesce into like some sort of final episode.
Yes, and one of the reasons I believe that is because in the trailers, some of the first trailers, there was a moment where they took that spinning shot from the first Avengers movie where it kind of like, you know, showed all of them back to back in Manhattan.
Oh yeah.
They took that shot and they replaced some of those people, like Captain Carter was there, T'Challa Star-Lord was there and stuff like that. So I don't think that was just something they did for style. I think that's going to be a scene that we see in an episode coming up. And and this Ultron thing happening like it did, I think is going to set that up. I think they're going to need, I think this is where the Watcher gets involved. I think this is where he's like, this is wrong. This is going to mess everything up. I need to take the people. I need Doctor Strange. I need to get him out of his little, universe prison. I need to get, T'Challa Star-Lord, because he proved that he's somebody who's, definitely on the right side of things. I need to get Captain Carter because she's over there kicking ass and stuff like that. I need to bring all these people together, and we need to stop Ultron.
So you think that this is in effect somewhat kind of like a Nexus event? Ultron getting it's something that happened in the timeline that wasn't meant to happen. I mean, that's not what the Nexus event is. I mean, I forgot what they defined that as in the Loki series.
The Nexus event is where like the timeline starts to branch, where the sacred timeline starts to branch.
Okay, good. That's what. All right. So so in this instance, when the Watcher's like, yo, hold the fuck up. Hold on, that shit ain't happen on this timeline. Like, what's going on? Like that's Marvel's way of kind of leaving the timeline and giving us the potential for another timeline that infuses all of these stories. Even one that the Watcher evidently hasn't seen yet, which I'm pretty confident by the end of this season is going to have a full goatee, glasses, and will have starred in 3 seasons of the Westworld.
A full head of hair.
We saw full body. Like they said, they did the full body close up. Mm-hmm. Like it was like, like I was like, okay, like that was like I was like, all right, he has progressively been more melanated each episode. And I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. But I see where you're coming from, man. Tyler, do you think that has any merit? Where Tyrone's going with this? That we're really just being fed a story that's kind of leading up to the end of the stories, the way Marvel does. Yeah. Or I told you, they've been really systematic about how they've been putting these episodes out. Like You know, Stephanie was like, we've been getting kind of serious, dark, and then all of a sudden they give us this. I think it was like you have to at some point remember you're still on Disney. Like, you know what I mean? Like at some point, if the kids come in the room, you got to have that one episode you can click to real quick and be like, yeah, you wanted to watch this with daddy? Come on, sit right here. You know what I mean? But I mean, and then next week, because what we saw at the end of the episode, that's one of those things where you see it and you're like, oh snap, right? Yes, right.
Yes.
Yeah, as soon as you see it, you're like, oh. So now we got 2 episodes left that's leading up into the Hawkeye, which I'm sure that final episode is going like Tyrone said, we're probably going to get T'Challa for the last time. That'll be Chadwick Boseman for the last time. That'll be the last time we get him on screen with his voice. And I think it's just going to be an epic episode. So leading into Hawkeye and Eternals and everything else that Marvel's got going on. October 1st is right around the corner. So yeah.
Well, I will say that again, it wasn't a bad episode, and that was never what I meant to portray. I just thought it was a little different than the prior episodes, and therefore was less enjoyable, but not a bad episode. Just for me, I kind of had gotten into the groove of things being, the more multi-layered way that they were. But I digress. If you don't mind, with no segue, I'm just gonna jump right into Titans, and I since Ty Leem is like the Titan enthusiast. Excuse me, oops, my bad. The Titans enthusiast. Can you just tell me just how you felt about this week's episode? Just straight up, just tell me how you feel about it.
I feel like I gave up. Like that. This episode. I don't like black and white. I didn't
I was waiting for it.
I don't do that. Like I didn't buy a high definition, all of that 4K, real resolution.
Surround sound.
I didn't do all of that to watch black and white. I didn't do that, and I can't. I can't get in when as soon as black and white come on, it fucks my shit up. Like, and that's really how I felt with this episode. Like I watched all of it because I knew we was going to talk about it, but I was cringing the whole time I was watching it. I was like, man, and we talked about this last week. What did we say? What, like they was going to bring us Donna, and they was going to bring us they was going to bring
Raven.
us Raven.
Didn't I say that? I was waiting for it. What I get?
We got it. We got him, but it was like a wasted episode. Like you got him and did what with him? Nothing.
Yeah.
We saved Bruce Wayne, bro.
Did we?
Man,
yeah.
For what?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. Okay, so listen, I was trying to figure out why he was trying to kill himself too. Like,
because he's finished, he's washed up, he's done, kaput. Stick a fork in him. Like that's what it like. And really, who the hell wants an emotional Batman? That doesn't even. I mean, like a sad version of it. No, hell no. That's not even Batman. Like, who is this guy?
Well,
he's blank. That's Blank Man.
All right, come on, man.
Yo, that was a funny ass movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Well,
that was a funny ass movie.
Yeah, it does sound like you had a different feeling. You saw the episode. How you feel?
Yeah, I saw the episode. So, I liked how Raven got a little bit into like more in tune with her powers. You know what I'm saying? Like the master. You know what I'm saying? Like the lady. You know what I'm saying? That was like rude as fuck to her. Of the Amazons, she like kind of helped her on like get her balance back in, like with her powers, with herself. So I really liked that about this episode, and I liked how like she wasn't just like a bitch. It was she saw her daughter in her. So like I liked the undertone of this episode, and I liked how it was literally only about Raven.
Yeah,
and you know what I'm saying. It was about Donna, Hank. I liked how we got to see Hank again. And then like Tim Drake, I like how like he he's obviously, still, he's untrained. Poor thing. Yeah. There's many things I could say. He's my bitch of the week.
Oh shit! Okay, nobody's your bitch of the week.
He's my bitch of the week. He's got a lot of. Listen, let's just say he's a work in progress. Okay, but this week he's the bitch of the week.
I like how this presentation is like, sitting somebody down and like, look, you're the bitch of the week this week, okay? But it doesn't always have to be like this. It can be better next time.
There's room for growth. You're still young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but this week you're the bitch of the week, and I'm sorry. You did this.
well, I mean,
food poisoning.
Tyrone, and Stephanie, I'm not sure if you got a chance to check it out. I know we're still. Oh, you did? Okay, cool. Well, real quick, Tyrone, like, do you share the same sentiments, man? I feel like we was on the same page last week, but what you feel about this week's episode?
Yeah, it's more of what I feel last week. They keep teasing that they like want to tell better stories. Like this whole time, Raven's been doing interesting shit, and they're just like, oh, by the way, why don't we check in and watch her build some shit? Like let's watch her just play with some rocks for a little while. Yeah, and then this whole purgatory type place that they went to, just to kind of do like a mini little adventure. But like I got questions about this place.
Yes,
like I want to know, like, how did they get there? How did Hank expect to get back with no body? Like there's no body waiting for him. What's he gonna be like? Like I had so many questions about how this all works. You could just imagine guns and stuff like that, but also like it looks like if you just throw something hard enough at these these ghoul creatures that they just disappear. Like it just throws stuff hard, you know what I mean? Like or imagine a car and get out of there. I was like, oh, this is it. They have these big ideas, and then they're just like, I guess we'll just see what happens. There's no like plan. It doesn't seem like there's any kind of long-term plan to, like I don't think we'll ever go back to this purgatory place. I think that was just a one-time thing, and they don't plan on exploring that any further. There's a bunch of I got a bunch of why. If Marvel has what if, right now DC has why.
Dig it. Stephanie.
I don't have as much background with him as y'all do, but I hate Tim Drake. I find him annoying. I think he has no skills, but is also demanding. That's not a good mix. And he's not brave. And I just feel like he's weird and obsessive. Like, you're not a hero. Let it go.
Right.
I'm not a fan. I will say my favorite moment of the episode was when Donna, I think, called up the bottles. At that point, I'd have been like, oh, fuck it. I guess I'm going to drink a soda and die. But he was like, no, these are weapons, and made it cool. And I was like, okay, I'm on board with this lady. I dig it.
Now, so you like Donna, huh? The Wonder Lady?
Wonder Girl.
All right. Well, look, if I may, man, I'm going to keep it 100, Brad. This whole week had me thrown off with these two shows. Like, these are the two shows we be talking, and I absolutely hated this episode. Like, let me just tell you why. I have grown to despise afterlife episodes where they give us this bullshit ass Earth-like afterlife in which there's always a way to get back, and there's a bridge that nobody knows about in the whole rest of the whole afterlife, but we can find the bridge and and let's just drive over there. Like, it's like, get the fuck out of here, man. Give me a break with this bullshit. Like, how is it that you heard somewhere that Hank is able to get to the bridge, and and all he got to do is get to the other side, and whoop-de-whoop, and there's these dudes jumping out of the trees and shit. It's like, man, get the fuck. And why are you driving? It's a fucking afterlife. Get on your goddamn Nimbus cloud and fly to the goddamn shit. Like, why? Why? All of this shit makes zero sense to me. And for the record, fuck Hank. Hank sucks. Hank is the worst. He let this motherfucker die, please. Like, I'm so over this dude. I never liked the whole Hawk and Dove fucking. I hated that shit. They're literally like, at least Batman has money. This nigga's broke as shit. He's got a dope ass outfit, but that's it. He's a broke ass security guard with a white outfit. No wonder he gets his ass beat. You know what I'm saying? And then we're supposed to give a shit because he's back and he's saying all this weird shit. And his girl left him because he died. Like, It just annoys the fuck out of me. Wonder lad, Wonder lady, Wonder girl.
Wonder girl.
What do you do? There's already a fucking Wonder Woman. I don't need a Wonder lad, Wonder Aqua lad. I hate that whole Junior's Justice League bullshit. I hate it. I hate it.
Damn, this episode got him mad at the whole show.
I know, right?
I remember the episode, and I know that they got the whole thing, and Wonder Lad, Aqua Lad, and Wonder Girl, and Superboy, and all these bootleg characters from the characters that's already bootlegged to begin with. Fuck all of the. Nobody gives a shit.
Get him, Ty.
Fuck Donna Troy. Fuck Diana. I mean, Diana's already bad enough. It's hard enough to think like, what the fuck you doing with Diana's whip? I mean, with her lasso of truth. You know what I'm saying? So fuck you for that. The best part of this episode, frankly, and the saving grace of this whole entire season, frankly, is Raven. Raven is the best part of this whole fucking series. And they gave us half an episode with her. She's the most interesting character out of all of them, in my opinion. And I don't know why they haven't just gone back to giving us a whole entire theme, a whole entire season based off of her whole character is the dopest shit in this whole. She's the only one with real supernatural powers in this motherfucker, and she uses them in this. And the best part about this episode was she got completely yoded. All right, she got yoded. All right, because she was trying to use her powers to attain some shit, and she was taught that powers ain't always gonna work. That was the best part of the episode for me. Seeing that Raven is back. And Raven learning through her master as her being the apprentice that, look, just because she was all like, bitch, I don't know why the fuck y'all even tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got these powers and y'all just scared because I got powers and shit. Like, fuck all y'all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all a bunch of cowards and shit. Like, that was the best part. I was like, tell them about themselves, Raven. Don't hold back. And then it was like, okay, well, come on here. Let me show you some shit right quick. And it was like, oh, shit, okay, so I can't just use my powers and solve everything. You know what I'm saying? And she also found out she wasn't the only telekinetic. So it was dope to see Raven back, but outside of that, this whole episode was trash, and it's been the second trash week, bro. DC writers, what the fuck going on, bro? Like, the fuck? Like, y'all had 2 dope ass seasons of Titans, bro, and this shit is not pulling it. Like, tighten the fuck up, like for real. Like, Tim Drake, are you serious? Who the fuck goes up to? I want to be the new Robin. Man, how, do you know what the fuck kind of health plan Robin has? What the fuck, nigga? You still?
I know how you walk.
Just because you stopped motherfuckers on the bus, dude, and you got shot. You went to. None of this shit is making any sense. I'm sorry. I hate it.
I mean, listen. I agree with you that this episode was trash. I don't agree with you with all of the who wants a junior this, a junior that, because you're super excited about junior this and junior that. You're super excited about Ironheart. You're super excited about the juniors that are coming up over there. Mm-hmm. It's just you're not. I mean, this series, this season so far has been a wash of Titans. I mean, I'll be the first to admit it. But I said last week, and I still think the last episode of the season is going to be the best episode thus far of the whole season, and it'll probably be good enough for us to tune in next season and be like, yo, I got to see what's going to happen now. You know what I mean? And I think you're right. You're right. The writers need to tighten up, because if they try to do this again, it's gonna be off my to watch list straight up, because this episode, I'm with you, made absolutely no sense. Sure. Like the brother who died years ago is like, I've been waiting for you.
Right?
What?
I literally was waiting to say that.
You was waiting for me. Like, what if I just would have stayed on the train? Mm-hmm. You would have been still waiting.
Right.
Yeah.
Ever and ever and ever.
Right.
Yeah, he was just like sitting there like, I hope my brother dies soon, so I have some company.
Thank you.
Like, what the hell? And he didn't imagine himself up a better outfit.
Yeah, and then he's and then your outfit is some
football pads
with papers hanging out the back, and you talking about, is the Return of the Dove and Hawk, and I was like, oh, really? Oh, like, yeah. And one last thing, because this made no sense. Hank said that in this place things are different. You can think of something so really that you want so bad, and it'll just appear. Well, why the fuck you didn't think of a door, motherfucker? Like, why would you think of a goddamn door to get the fuck out of there? Like that part, or better yet, why didn't you think of a bridge so you could have just ran over when they was running out and ran with them?
Yeah,
you just did a whole lot of dumb shit,
right?
And I was just like, yo, at that point, the TV started watching me. I was like, man, this is really corny, and I'm sorry I even referred it. You know,
I want to apologize to Stephanie, who we asked to watch the show and is now like, what the fuck y'all got me watching over here? Because I'm gonna keep it real. Like, this ain't how it was. This is not how it was. Look through the first couple seasons. Look, bad CGI and all. They still kept a decent storyline, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the very least, we was happy with, you know, the way that Dick Grayson was portrayed, and Beast Boy, and of course Raven. I mean, even Hawk and the well, I don't even know if it was Dove, because what's the girl's name? His girlfriend,
Dove.
Dawn, but her alias was Dove, but her name was Dawn.
Dawn. Okay, So like, I'm like at first, like I was like, all right, all right, cool. They at least wrapped you in with the storyline. Now the story has gone to shit, and that's all it really had. Like, I'm just gonna keep it real. Even Raven's scene with the CGI looked extremely fake. It didn't look. I mean, don't give me. Look, I know it's DC and it's it's limited budget probably, but it wasn't a convincing use of her powers as far as I was concerned. But I feel like we brought you in on a downward slope, and I mean, at least you're here to witness it. But I would definitely still recommend that first season if you haven't seen it already, because I think that the first season was actually still legitimately holds up. But what do you think of so far, Stephanie? Now that you've seen a couple episodes,
it's interesting. There's no one
really convincing
that I'm really excited about. I think probably the thing that annoyed me most in this episode was when the lady on it's Wonder Woman's planet, right? I can't remember the name of it. It's like Therithmia, wherever they are.
Themyscira.
I was like, I know it sounds like a health condition. When she was like, yeah, basically resurrecting people, we don't really know how the shit works. We just chant and hope for the best. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I was like, what? What right? That really frustrated me. Like, you have no process. You just hope for the best. Like, doesn't even work at all. That was weird.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, I can say this, man. I am extremely, as it sounds like we all are, a little disappointed. I will say that one of the things that has been keeping me interested was not in this particular episode, and that of course is our chocolate sisters, the Black Fire and the Hot Fire. It's Starfire, and more fire, Hot Fire, Boomer Fire. Do all of them in us. So y'all pussy them can't test y'all. What I know. So they wasn't in this episode, so that could have taken away from my level of excitement for it. Because I mean, despite how easily, well, I won't say easily, but despite how she did end up forgiving her, she understands her story a little quickly. I do think that they are the driving force of this, or at least Blackfire they're trying to make as the driving force behind this season, as she wasn't in this episode, justifiably so, because we did get to see Raven, who I think, frankly, is another one of the dopest course of the show. But I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man, they got to do a whole lot to kind of bring this back on track. I'm not a big fan of those afterlife sequences. And to try to just kind of combat what Ty was saying, like Ironheart is not Iron Man Jr. Like, Ironheart is a protege, and she's not like Iron Man. She's a whole different character. Like, why the fuck Wonder Lad? Wonder Girl when there's Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? Aqua Lad. Like,
I mean,
give me a break.
Iron Man, Ironheart.
Well, that's not her name's not Ironheart. That's the name of the That's the name of the series. She actually does end up becoming the Iron Man, so to speak. But it's after the demise of Iron Man, so it's not like there's two coexisting Iron Men. You know what I'm saying? Also, like there's not a whole bunch others. You're not gonna name Miles Morales because that's a coexisting Spider-Man. All right, and that's not like a knockoff. Like, it's one of the most popular characters in the Marvel universe right now. There's no there's no Hulk lad. I mean, there's a She-Hulk,
there's a Hawkeye, and there's a Kate Bishop.
There's a Kate Bishop.
What I'm saying is these are underlings. That's the same thing that Nightwing is. He's an underling. Robin, he's an underling. I mean, all of these are underlings, and the Titans are meant to be that. They're meant to be the underlings. And so, like, the idea that you're against, there shouldn't be a Wonderland. I mean, this is DC. This is their bread and butter. It's always been their bread and butter. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing with the MCU. Their bread and butter lies within those characters, and they're just their bread and butter has thus far lied within the Avengers. Yes, I don't know why you keep shaking your head.
Well, I mean, I want to let you finish, but Beyonce had the best song. No, let me stop. But the fact of the matter is, I disagree with you wholeheartedly. What Marvel did, different from DC, is they took their obscure characters and made them popular. They didn't take the popular characters, carbon copy them, and say, here, now you have another version of your favorite character, which to go by. We've been begging for a Miles Morales movie. We haven't gotten it. We've been getting Easter eggs. Instead, what we get, Ant-Man, Elektra, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. Motherfuckers we were not asking for. But that's not what DC does. DC is like, yo, look, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman, those are our go-to guys. That's who we're going to keep throwing at you. And when we're done throwing them at you, we're going to cut them in half and give you the semi-dope versions of them, as opposed to what Marvel does, which is they may have some replacements for them, but not like a carbon copy standing next to them the whole time. These aren't underlings. These are people that are now having to step up because the original character is no longer around. Tyrone, let's talk some sense into this man.
Well, I hate to disappoint you, but I gotta. I'm gonna side more with Ty in this one, but also to your point, what I think I don't think. I don't think
the hair squad, of course, is going to stick together, man.
No, I don't think the concept is the issue. I think it's the execution that's the issue. The idea of sidekicks and the idea of mantle passing and stuff like that. The reason that it doesn't seem so corny in the MCU is because they do it well. Like they have given us characters with good stories who we want to see more of and that kind of thing. And they're not just like, we're just going to put the first part of this other character's name in front of your name, and then that's going to be your backstory. It's like, we get actual story. Like it's all about execution here. Ty's right when he's talking about, all of these proteges coming up. I mean, it's not unusual. It's just done so much better in the MCU so far. And like even in the first couple seasons of Titans, like we weren't really complaining about it. We were like, all right, cool, let's do this. You know what I mean? Hawk and Dove. I didn't care about no Hawk and Dove before. Robin, however many Robins they want to throw in, and all that other stuff. We weren't thinking about that. Beast Boy.
Those are all characters we kind of were enjoying.
Yeah, but then when that execution started slipping.
Yeah, this season has just been trash. And now, and remember, Vince, 2 weeks ago, your energy was way different about these. And now it's I can't. I hate that thing. I hate them. So I like, bro, I'm with you. These episodes in this season.
I hate them.
I hate why they. You really went in. Like, I hate they created them. They should have never gave them their own episode.
It's like, I don't even why TV. Why do TVs even have to exist? This is bullshit.
This is your energy switches up really.
All right. Well, in my defense, really I've never professed love for Hawk. I've never professed love for any of the characters that I disparage now. I've always said that the storyline in Titans is dope. I've always maintained that the storyline. So when I'm sitting here ranting and raving about what I hate, it's because the storyline is slipping, and that's what I love the most about this particular series. So I'm not switching up my tune. DC is slacking. This show is slacking. I have the same adoration for Robin, Nightwing. I told you from the get that I love how they're incorporating the transition of the Robins, because that's one of the most fascinating things of the Gotham universe. Let's just keep like Gotham is to Marvel what Wakanda is. Gotham is to DC what Wakanda is to Marvel, in that it is one of the few settings that has its own character. It's like you could put on the screen Gotham as they already have and make a whole story about it, make a whole season, make series about it. Same thing for Wakanda, being Wakanda. We can sit and watch series. We're just interested in the city Wakanda, of the actual existence of it. So I'm cool with having multiple Robins, even Jason Todd and Tim Drake, who I think is going to annoy the shit out of me like he's annoying Stephanie. Me too. His character, the way that they've written him into this has been wrong. It's been all fucked up. It does not do the young man justice to bring him out of some puss-ass nigga who got to follow people on the bus and then get shot while walking away from a bullet, and then goes to fucking hell, purgatory, wherever the fuck it is, finds two people that couldn't find each other the whole goddamn time. All right. And then all of a sudden, I gotta get home. Bitch, we all gotta get home. You think the whole afterlife don't want to go home, bitch? You think you the only nigga in the motherfucking world? I'm sorry. This shit had me pissed off. I'm sorry. It's not me. It's not the story. I mean, it's not Titans. It's whoever the fuck wrote these last few episodes. Stephanie, I'm sorry. What's up?
I just wanted to acknowledge for a moment his terrible little baby jump off of the leg. There was a whole 3 inches.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was it. Yeah.
And you want to be a
superhero. Yeah. Thank you, Steph.
Honestly, if the rest of the show is just Tim Drake being a terrible Robin, I might just enjoy the shit out of watching it. Just he's just showing up and just getting his ass beat every week. That'd be.
I'm just happy that we all agree that the bitch of the week is Tim Drake.
Yes, all right, absolutely.
Yes,
we're in agreement. Hallelujah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can definitely agree on that, man. I think he could be the bitch of the season. Actually, we just go ahead and just bring that up the whole time, and it sucks too because they've clearly tried to infuse, a person of color in the position of Robin. He's not that way in the comic book. I mean, he is also. I mean, spoiler alert: in the comics, as we've already announced, meant to come out the closet. So don't be surprised if at the end of this season they announce that he's got a date with Jason Todd, you know what I'm saying, or some shit like that.
Jason Todd doesn't deal with people like that. Like he's gonna have to really step his game up if he's trying to pull Jason. Because what's Jason be like? Why? What? So I can make sure you don't die? Is like we're just hanging out. Like,
he'd be all right, man. Jason be high as fuck, bro.
Right. Jason's like high.
Yeah, and but that sounds like a bridge to me.
And you know what? To your point, Vince, of the writing on the show, they had an opportunity to take that Red Hood character and do. I mean, they had an opportunity. There was a window of opportunity where that character looked like he was going to be somebody we were really going to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the fact that you allow him to be emotionally unstable, to the point of him breaking, down and feeling I need to go back to my family. You take somebody like that, a character like that, and you build him. Yeah. You don't sit there and break him down and let him go home. He's already killed one of the members. The like that's a no way back. That's a no way back scenario. You know what I'm saying? No, so
Nightwing said he can come home if he gives up Scarecrow.
Well, he was gonna give him up. Scarecrow just overheard the conversation. That was why that all messed up. That's why that all went wrong, is because Scarecrow was in the tunnels listening to the conversation when he was talking to Dick.
Which is just listening. I know that happened, but like listening to it being described, I'm like, wow, that was what they chose to go with. I overheard you talking shit about me, like, and that's that's ugh. Like as just a story element, like that's just kind of weak.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it is, man, and it's unfortunate, but frankly, it's not uncommon for us to be disappointed by DC. we were kind of looking at Titans as being one of the saving graces of the DC universe. And it's panning out that Titans once again was a flash in the pan. I'm hoping that's not the case. I just don't recall, other than Iron Fist, any Marvel series that led us this far down disappointment lane, to the point where we are now 2 weeks deep into like, yo, what the fuck, Titans? So I mean, somebody over there at the studio, somebody knock on their door and slide a fucked up message under they, let them see the reviews on this shit, because I refuse.
They don't check the messages anymore over there, man.
You want to know what I think is going on?
What you think going on, Yazzie?
Okay, so I think that DC is just like they obviously time management and everything is not a thing of theirs. They're not good at it. And multitasking, not good at it. On that note, on top of that, because this third season of Doom Patrol just came out.
Yes, we was about to go into that
on the 23rd, and
I watched it.
I started watching it too, and I mean, I'm not like as enticed with it as I was the first two seasons. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
So definitely, I think DC, watch our podcast because y'all got a lot of fucking learning to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue. I was gonna get into Doom Patrol next. I hope all y'all had a chance to. If you haven't watched it's cool. All right, but it actually was 3 different episodes of Doom Patrol. So for those of y'all who are not familiar with Doom Patrol is one of DC's spinoffs. Well, I don't even call it spinoff. It's a show that was originally on DC's website, or like they had a like kind of like their own streaming service. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And one of the things that was meant to lure you over was Titans, Swamp Thing, and Doom Patrol. We still haven't seen Swamp Thing on HBO Max, and I think that it's actually still only 1 season deep. So I haven't had a chance to see that yet. Ty has been telling me I need to jump up on that. But this particular season, I ain't gonna lie. Like, if we can all just agree that Doom Patrol, if you watched it, is unlike anything. Is unlike any show that we watch. One of my favorite aspects of Doom Patrol is that it is blatantly meant to be completely asinine. They do not make, from day one, they're not even trying to like fool you with shit that makes sense. They're like, look, we're just gonna put this dead dude in a robot, all right, and we're gonna go ahead and have this chick who has 16 different personalities buried within herself.
And then there's this goat.
Yeah. And there's a goat. There's a goat. And
then there's Danny.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh my God, Danny.
There's so much of it is just, you're just like, okay, so y'all are just y'all just don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? The writers are just like, look, whatever. We just gonna put some shit somewhere in here.
Girl too, like.
So it takes the expectation factor down. Like every time I watch it, I'm like, all right, well, what if I ain't gonna lie. Season 2, it wasn't to me as dope as season 1 because it was kind of hard to watch the little young girl. With the face, the dog face, I hate to say it, we all got children, you know what I'm saying? But whew, that was a tough, the candle maker.
She got Wolfman syndrome. Leave the baby alone.
Hey, I don't want, no problems. Don't call up Candlestick Man on me or nothing. I thought her character was fascinating, but it's a hard watch. All right. Well, have we all? Did anybody get a chance to check out the current season of Doom Patrol? Did everybody know?
Yeah, I haven't. I didn't know there was 3 episodes. I watched the first episode.
Yeah, I watched the first one. I
didn't know there was 3. So I have to go back and watch the other 2. But I watched the first episode.
I'm still catching up. I stopped in season 1 a while back, so I'm still catching up.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, then
don't worry about spoilers. Yeah, don't worry about spoilers.
Oh, is that the sentiments of everybody? Y'all don't mind spoilers?
No. Go ahead.
I was saying, me and Tyleem, like we're watching, so you don't know. Just one episode.
Okay. So it's okay if I start talking about some of it a little bit, but it's not gonna fuck up y'all enjoyment of it. No.
Yeah, go for it.
As long as you don't ruin the 2nd and 3rd episode.
Oh. All right. I don't think I can ruin it, but I can provide at least things to look forward to.
Okay, some insight. I'll take that.
I'll say this. You know that Jane is my favorite character in this whole
yes,
Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Jane is the saving grace. I frankly think she needs her own show. I think Jane could actually be a movie. Like her shit is so dark.
Yeah.
And it's so it's frankly relatable in a mental health sense, you know, that, you know, folks with what they used to call multiple personality disorder, which I think now is like they've changed the way that they call that. Like it's it's a completely different term. But
I think it's like dissociative personality disorder.
Yeah, something like that. Like I think that this, like Jane's existence kind of gives credence to what it may feel like to be a person that suffers from that type of ordeal. Now, set aside the fact that she's bad as fuck. Don't get me wrong. I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, you know, I mean, I loved her in Orange is the New Black. You know what I'm saying? And she's easy on the eyes, and she plays her part well. So that makes it a lot easier. But I mean, the character herself is very, very complex. So I think Steph, I don't know if you've seen too many of these, but this is Jane. All right, Jane. Oh shoot, that's the wrong one. Here's Jane. Sorry. So Jane has multiple personalities. Some are killers, some are babies, some are like, you know, just straight up goons. And some are like professors, and but here's the dopest part. Each of her personalities has a different superpower. You know what I'm saying? So everybody she turns into, which she doesn't turn into voluntarily, the leader of her, like, she has 60 plus personalities. They're all in this place in her head called the Underground. And the Underground is led by the original version of herself, who they all kowtow to. But her original version of herself is like what, 7 or 8 years old, something like that in her head.
Yeah, but they don't really kowtow to her. They kowtow to the primary, which is Jane. No, Jane is the primary.
Yeah.
But what's her name?
Miranda.
Not Miranda either. Miranda's
Miranda's gone.
It's the girl's name, May Amaya.
And her name is Kay.
Kay is the one who she allows the primary to be which primary is which, right? Like
no. The way it works, the way it was determined was because Kay for a long time was trapped in her own mind because of the abuse that she.
Me being confused.
Shit, my bad.
Just because of the abuse, just because.
That's better. Yo, Tyrone, why don't you just act like you're Ty? Go ahead and keep talking. Let's play ventriloquist.
Jane, Miranda, Samantha. Okay. All right.
My bad, yo. My bad.
Yo, man. So
there's Hammerhead. Don't forget.
Kay was trapped. Kay was trapped in like a kind of like a box, a mental box where she was separate from the personalities, because of the trauma that she experienced from her father. So she was kind of just shut off. So the personalities vote who they want the primary to be.
Yep.
And all of the personalities agreed at one point that Jane should be the primary.
Yep.
So you know, coming into this season, she had got voted off as being primary, and Miranda was replaced her as the primary.
Yep.
And then in this first episode, we kind of saw how that turned out. But ultimately, Jane is the one that's in control. Now, I don't know in this season if that holds true because Kay is now talking and you know, everything like that. So I don't even know that Kay even needs them anymore. But I don't know how that works. So because why is Kay down there with her personalities? You know what I mean? Like these are all like made up. She's the only one that's actually real, but she's still in the underground, trapped in her mind. It's weird. So I don't know.
Because everyone is there to protect Kay. Like Kay is very fragile. So all those personalities were basically a defense mechanism for Kay to cope and for her to keep existing, you know, even though she was stuck in her box. So it's a very complex like situation. You know, that Jane, her character, like, you know, has to go through, you know, and like we get to see it's super interesting. If you can keep up with it, no lie. It's a lot. If you blink, you'll fucking miss something for sure. But yeah, I love her whole persona for sure. Like she's definitely one of the most interesting characters. And my other favorite character is definitely, like, I hate to say this because like I hate on him so much, but it's definitely Cliff. Like Brendan Fraser in this one, like I love him as Cliff. If he could just stay this like character forever, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, yeah. Doom. I mean, he's definitely the funniest shit. I think
Those two together, like Jane and him together, are fucking hilarious. Like I love it.
Cliff's annoying as fuck.
Oh, shit.
You don't like Cliff?
Cliff is annoying as fuck, man.
What?
Oh my gosh. Like, yo, like, but like, I mean, I get why y'all say that and everything, but yeah, man, he's annoying, man. He really is. Like, all he does is yell. Everything with him is
robot.
yelling. Like, he doesn't talk. Everything is. It's the whole, every time you hear him talk, and this is a robot. So it's like you're hearing that in robot vibration and all of that kind of stuff. It's just, I'm just, yeah, man. I don't know. I'm not in that.
Fucking funny.
I thought you was gonna say the blob lady, because her.
Oh yeah.
She's very interesting.
I do like Rita.
And yeah, Rita, I like Rita. I really do like Rita. Rita's really cool.
But
Larry's another one. He's dealing with a lot. So it's like, plus we still to this day don't know what the fuck that is in Larry.
Right.
Like they have never.
Well, that's what we're gonna discover. That's what we're gonna discover. Remember, he took off. We saw him take off. You know, and like going, like he got his, you know, he got his affirmations, and the ghost spirit inside him got his affirmations that he can leave. You know, Rita said it was okay. You know, that she'll be okay. So he fucking left, and now we're gonna see like where, because remember the lady, the astronaut lady. Remember her?
Sorry, listening to y'all describe this show is asinine. Like this show sounds like complete nonsense, but it sounds so nonsensical when people are describing it, and I'm just realizing how ridiculous it sounds.
But it's so entertaining though, how much nonsense there is. Like it's not even funny. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The astronaut lady. Remember the astronauts that like went up in space? You know what I'm saying? And then like she only came back. The other two were like
and she had one of those things in her.
Remember though, she was saying that she had to go through like the whole, like both of them had to go through the whole acceptance thing. It took her 5 years, and that's why he's covered in radiation. She's not. Remember that. So she was like, you need to go and cope with your spirit and get more in tune with them. She said space is a great, like, that's why he kept playing that recording over to him, because she was saying to him like she found her enlightenment and her new life, and that is why she's able to harness her power and like the ghost spirit, and like it's not something like once it's out of her, it doesn't like kill her, you know what I'm saying? Like it's doing to Larry. So it's very complex, and I'm really excited to kind of see like the transformation that she went through with, you know, Larry go through all that, so that we can figure out how, because remember when he started taking off into space, his features started coming back.
Yeah.
He turned back into like, you know, Captain Trainer, you know what I'm saying? So he wasn't like, you know, the guy and his bandages, you just see them like flying off in the sky, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm really excited to see this new transition for him, you know what I'm saying? Like, and what we're gonna learn with that whole spirit, and like what it can do, and why it got into his body, you know what I'm saying? And why that lady has one in her too. Like, what the fuck? There's two of them.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, but you're going to be disappointed in these upcoming episodes, man. I'm interested in hearing how you feel with the outcome of what I feel like unjustifiably souped up this first episode with him having the same exploration that he does every season, where it's, what do you want from me? Leave me alone, like, you know. Right. But at the same time, I feel like it's a little more permissible for Doom Patrol, because it's just so completely out there. Like they're not even trying. The Titans try to give us a storyline that makes sense. Doom Patrol, there was a scene where everybody had an orgasm at once. and it was
Oh,
hilarious.
yeah.
It was fucking
Flex.
hilarious.
Flex.
It was funny as
Flex
shit.
Mentalo.
Yeah. All he does is just flex. All he does is flex in the room, and he
Flex.
don't touch
Oh,
you.
Flex.
Everybody organized.
I love
and you bust.
Flex.
Yo, they got some very absurd episodes. They had like ghosts. They had an episode that where the whole house was full of ghosts.
Oh yeah, they were fucking ghosts.
Ghosts fucking everywhere.
Yes.
But I saw this the first episode of this season, and
he said ghost fucking. What was it? Ghost.
We haven't get into the ghost.
Were there ghosts fucking everywhere? They were fucking everywhere. Okay, I just like
everywhere.
Let me talk to you a little bit.
Nah, but there was on this first episode. This is another DC sabotage where they literally sabotaged themselves because they ended last season with the opportunity to take another villain. They had another villain that could have made this show really, really interesting. And what do? They take the villain and they just pacify him. Like they like, okay, we're not gonna make you a villain. We'll just make you a friend, an ally.
But the Candlemaker?
Yeah, the Candlemaker. Instead of him being
we just got a new villain though.
But the Candlemaker. But the Candlemaker was supposed to. They said last season the Candlemaker, if the Candlemaker would end the world.
I know. I remember.
So how you gonna take somebody that ends the world and just put a pacifier in his mouth and tell him to sit in the corner?
Well, she didn't. She trapped his ass on the fucking moon, so he's not like he can end the world if he's on the fucking moon. I mean, technically, if he was smart enough to understand that if he fucking destroyed the moon, then it would ultimately fuck up the Earth. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole complex dynamic. Like I mean, it's a little more in tune. I get what you're saying for sure, but it kind of made a little bit more sense. She was like, "You don't be my friend, we're gonna be fucking trapped here forever. I'm never going home." Like she basically told him, "You're gonna be my bitch." That's how shit's gonna be. Like she didn't give him a choice, and he had to submit to her because she ultimately created him. And if she can create him, what the fuck else can she do? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're right, Yas, but that's again bad writing because you have a villain with these type of powers, and you don't showcase it. Like you leave last season with us thinking that we're about to step into this new season with the Candlemaker having frozen everybody, incapacitated everybody, and now you got this little girl with all these powers. So instead of there being a ultimate showdown, you decide, oh, I'm not gonna fight you. We're just gonna be friends and like we were before, and go on. And I was like, what? And then everybody just comes. That was terrible. That's terrible writing. You don't get everybody hyped up on this, and then when it comes that time, you like, oh, they about to throw the punches, and then they like, oh man, I don't think we should fight, man. You know what, man? You cool, man. You know what I mean? Everybody came to see the fight. Oh, y'all not gonna fight? So, you're right. That's real shit. And that's kind of what it was, man. And I was like, here we go again. DC stepping in front of themselves.
That is a good point because to Talim's point, they could have easily made it so problematic that she tried to contain him on the moon, but he was still a looming threat. You know what I'm saying? Or something where he wasn't so easily contained with the threat of not having friendship. You know what I'm saying? Like friendship was ultimately the arbiter of the world here. Like, I'm not gonna be your friend. Like you know what I'm saying?
I didn't write it. I'm just saying.
No, Yaz, it's all your fault. We know
you're in the right Yaz.
I'm just saying. I get where they're coming from, and why it kind of made sense. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, she was like, "Bitch, I'm Hitler. You do as I say." She was serious.
Well, it's not meant to look. I think that Ty's his point is extremely valid, and that's if you really want to add to the suspense and the plot lines of the show, then don't make them so easily quench. So easily, we shouldn't be able to douse his flame so easily. You know what I'm saying? Like she couldn't even control him. The episode ended with him basically killing everybody against her will. Like she didn't even want to, for that shit to happen, and then all of a sudden she's like, wait. please don't do that again. Like, I don't want to have to not be your friend anymore. Like, come on, you know? So it would have been doper if he was like, look, I'm trying to hold him in, but I don't know, guys. You know, I'm going to try to put him on the moon, but he could come back at any minute. Or something like, you know, something like that. But again, hey, it's Doom Patrol. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I mean, we're talking about a show where there's a guy with no body in an iron suit that's not even really a robot, and it's
a brain.
You know, he's basically Full Metal Alchemist type shit going on. Which is anime. Speaking of anime, one of the best franchises to ever hit the screens has released its own anime show this week, and if you missed it, you missed something dope as fuck. I'm gonna say it off the rip. This show deserves accolades. Y'all need to go ahead and start watching Star Wars Visions if you have not yet. The show is dope, and let me tell you the best parts about it. It's not saga. It's not completely saga based.
It's not canon.
So it's episodic. All right. It does have some residual, some sort of theme underlying, but it's basically 9 different, completely different episodes that are all anime based on some of the best anime collaborative groups putting these together. And I thought some were better than others, but they were all cool to watch. Now I'm assuming that we didn't all get a chance to watch all the episodes of Visions.
First episode.
So the first episode?
Yeah, I saw the
first three for me. Yeah.
First three. Steph, I know you're not a big Star Wars.
I will watch. What platform? I cannot.
Disney
Y'all watch
Plus.
so much
Disney
TV.
Well, I mean,
what the fuck?
Honestly, it's 2 episodes. I didn't expect to watch this show that we're gonna watch. We're gonna talk about after this. But honestly, most of this stuff I do Friday. I don't get a chance to watch all of it every single day. I'm not. Sometimes it's even early as fuck in the morning.
I was about to say I did that shit this morning before the show. I was watching shit this morning, man.
Yeah, so. Sometimes it's not. Can't watch them all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when I honestly didn't expect to watch Visions so quickly, but the episodes are like 12, 13 minutes long.
Yeah,
Like
they're
I think
short.
they're not like not like a whole hour's worth of content for every episode. I think the longest episode is like 22 minutes or 24 minutes.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. But they're most of them are like 13, 14 minute little snippets or little story, quick stories. So I don't know if you got a chance to watch it at all. Looks like I may have been.
I definitely did.
You did? Okay. Yeah, we anime heads. Since y'all haven't watched it, I'm not going to spoil all of it, frankly. But I will say that, and I actually, for those who are watching on Facebook and on our Instagram, YouTube, you notice that I labeled this show, "What If Luke and Leia Skywalker Were Sithlords?" And that's because in this particular series, there is one episode. There's I think 9 of them. All right, but one episode is heavy because it goes deep into what if territory, and I'm talking about none other than the episode in which Am and Kare had to face off with each other.
Oh yeah, that was dope.
Oh, now look, I'm going to focus on this episode specifically, honestly, and then we ain't even got to talk about it no more because everybody, and then we'll come back and maybe next week we could talk about it at more length because I still haven't told you what I thought about Shang-Chi because I did have a chance to see that this week. But this episode right here, guys, explores the possibility of, all right, so let me explain this to Stephanie. So Stephanie, there's these 2 people in Star Wars called Luke and Leia Skywalker. All right.
Okay, I'm not that far behind.
He does it to me all the time, girl. Don't feel bad. He does it to me all the time.
I just want what I'm saying. And there's this big mythical thing called the Force, right? You know what I'm saying?
I can't believe
and
it.
there's this guy named Darth Vader who's bomb. All right, my bad. I'm getting such eye roll right now. All right, but I'm not here. Here's the deal. So the fact of the matter is, Luke and Leia were born of what was meant to be, and some would argue was the arbiter of the death of the empire in Anakin Skywalker, and their birth was significant because they were born of who was supposed to be the chosen one, right? So here we have a synopsis in which there's chosen ones, but on the Sith side. Like these are two genetically created, they're two twins born of Sith. You know what I'm saying? So they have these huge powers. They're just as strong as the Jedi, so some would say. They have not only that power with the Force, the ability to wield the lightsabers, but they have the entire empire, the galactic empire behind them as well. But one of them, we won't say which, it's kind of obvious, decides, you know what, man, I know I got all this power and shit, but maybe I shouldn't be using this to take over the whole galaxy. And this episode really delves into the complexities that these two twins have with dealing with their either, their good power of good benevolence or being an evil Sith Lord. Surprise! I'll tell you, the girl is the bad one, and it makes it so dope. So the fight scenes in this particular episode, which I think is episode 3 or 4, I can't remember. I think
it was 3.
3. Yo. Yeah. This one episode I think goes so deep. Like it's
yeah, it was hard.
It for me made the series. I mean, I was waiting for another episode to be as dope as it. Maybe the last episode was pretty deep as well with the rabbit. I can't remember what the rabbit's name was. It was like a whole like Peter Rabbit meets Return of the Jedi. It's just the thing going on. But this particular episode, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like it raised a lot of questions for me. We got to see a lightsaber helicopter. What the fuck? Like, umbrella. Like, there's a lightsaber umbrella, bro. Yeah. Like, she puts a lightsaber in an umbrella, and that shit, like, she can spin with it. Now, they do some real crazy shit. Even with this, like, the lightsaber can be elasticized. It gets real deep into like how you can stretch the bounds of your imagination with what we know is canon in the Star Wars universe. So, Yaz, it's me and you, the only one seeing it, man. Just, I mean, what was your, after watching all of it, I mean, what's your overall reaction to this, man? Do we love it? Do we hate it? Is it all right? What's going on?
So I only got to episode 3 just because, like, I had work and I got, food poisoning and everything. So kind of messed me up a little bit, but, I loved it actually. This episode, Austin and I, like immediately after we got done, like we like stopped, you know what I'm saying? And like looked at each other and we were like, yo, I think that was like the hardest one. Like no lie. Yeah. He was like, yeah, that was probably my favorite one. I loved just the argument, the brother sisterly argument, and how it was definitely the different, the Sith Lord, and how she was like the fucking dude. She was scary. Like I was getting Palpatine vibes from this bitch. Like no lie, with the lightning and everything coming out and shit. It was pretty cool. Definitely, if you haven't got to see this one, tune into Disney Plus. It's called, what was it called? Star Wars Visions. It looks a little bit different. And it starts out, like Ty was saying, the first episode does start out in black and white. And I did, no lie, when we first like saw that episode, I was like, oh shit, Ty's gonna have a fucking problem. I did. I know. Trust me, I know. And then Austin started dying. He's like, your guys. Now it's like, I know my guys. I was like, you have a fucking problem with this. He's gonna be like, what the fuck are all the damn episodes of this shit? I got a fucking 4K TV for this. We were dying laughing for a second, and then we kept watching, and they're pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I like the different anime aspect on it. It's refreshing to see Star Wars in this light because it's so new. So definitely check it out. I'm excited to hear everyone's take on like how they feel about it, and I'm excited to give you more of my feels on it once I dive into the rest of the season.
I'd like to say I haven't seen the second and third episode yet. I just saw the first episode, but I will say this: with the level of technology that they have, especially with the animes, a lot of the anime shows that I see come on Netflix all the time, I would have thought that the texture of this one would have been a little bit better, especially with Disney Plus, than what I saw, especially in that first episode, because that first episode was like the first anime sketch ever done type Like it did.
I thought it was gorgeous. I thought the first episode was amazing.
No, but I mean, it's amazing from the standpoint of classical.
Right.
Oh no, I thought visually. I thought they killed it visually.
Anime. I mean, like classical anime. That's like classical. Well, all I'm saying, basically, what I'm saying is like I just see a lot of newer versions of anime coming out, and I would have just thought that they would have come up with a little bit of newer version, even something similar to that of Yasuke and how they did Yasuke would have been dope. But the black and white kind of sketchy, like I was like, I didn't really like it. It wasn't that good.
I feel like maybe Tyrone, maybe you agree with me on this. I feel like this was there's this weird like merging of anime and 3D animation that we see happening in these in the first episode specifically, where it's clearly drawn art, it's clearly animated, but then they'll throw in that 3D imagery background, just to kind of confuse you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Which I think I first saw, frankly, in Aladdin. I remember seeing Aladdin, the movie with
mixture
Princess
of CG and hand drawn,
where like when Abu was about to fall off, when he got sent to Prince Ali, so long, and then he sent them all the way out to, and I was like, yo, this shit looks 3D as fuck when he was about to fall off the cliff, and like Abu had to run. I done switch. I mean, we are talking Disney, so fuck it. You know what I'm saying? It's, but I've been seeing this like merging of different animation types, and this was no different, in which the animation was not just single, wasn't like one type. Like
it wasn't cell animation. It was definitely it was computer. Animation. They just did it in a style that was really going back to like old samurai films. Even George Lucas was a big fan of old samurai films. He took a lot of inspiration from them in Star Wars. And this, I think that first episode was supposed to be kind of more of an homage to that that classic Kurosawa kind of, those classic samurai films. Mm-hmm. I thought the first one was the best one, told the best story, and was just, the animation was amazing. I loved that first one. But I did see it when it was in black and white. I was like, this is going to be an issue. It's going to be a problem.
Now, the clip you have up there right now, Vince, the texture of that animation right there, like if I were to compare it to something old school, you remember The Hobbit, like the
the cartoon,
the cartoon. That like that's when I look at cartoons and I see like an old school texture like that, I could dig this. But like for me, like a sketch art is like one of those things where like it has to have a good storyline in order to support the lack, I think, of visual colors and stimulation that usually comes with an anime. I hate to say cartoon, but what it is. But so for me, like when I saw that first episode, I was just like, oh man, like what I mean, like this is Disney, this is Star Wars, like I'm thinking, on the level of Star Wars and how they do visuals, I'm looking for that texture. I'm looking for that, especially after just seeing, the other Star Wars series that came out that I really still have yet to really.
Bad Batch.
Yeah, Bad Batch. I really haven't been able to get into that. But yeah,
Bad Batch was good, man.
Yeah, I tried.
It was good is not great. it was good.
Yeah, I just can't keep me. I just can't stay and binge it. I can't act like I'll watch. Like I'll try to watch an episode, and like 30 minutes in, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Like I'll come back. I'll watch this later. I'll come back to it.
I'll tell you what, if anything, here's what to watch Bad Batch for. Watch it for the subtle inclusion of the storyline and the inclusion of the characters that you see in Star Wars, but don't get a lot of play.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like bringing up and using like the girl
Finnick.
Not Finnick. I actually talk about, remember the girl that got thrown into the Sarlacc pit by Jabba the Hutt after she was dancing and she was like like the first basically one of the girls who looked, one of the only black women portrayed, like she was black. I'm just gonna keep it real.
I think she was
she was blue in the movie, but she was black in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But she there's more delving into like people of her descent. I believe in Bad Batch a little bit. I think there was one Jedi. I think that they, not a Jedi, but somebody in the series. But if you watch it for kind of the things that are going on around it, some of the characters that are included that we're probably going to see in the live action shows, I think that it's worth it. It is a little weird, you know, that they're all clones and all of that, and they're fighting over another chick, over another clone who ends up being, you know, one of the most pure blood Jango Fett clones or whatever. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, I think Bad Batch is worth the watch when you run out of everything else to watch. Mm-hmm. As far as the anime, I couldn't disagree with you more on this first episode. I thought it was rugged raw. I like the fact that it wasn't traditional Inuyasha, Full Metal Alchemist, freaking Last Airbender anime. It was very, very, very artistic with the art. As a sketch artist, I was impressed with it, and I also like the fact that it was about a Sith who was fighting the Sith, and I think that's an interesting storyline that they're exploring in these Visions episodes. So we can't talk too much about them because everybody hasn't seen them all. Frankly, I'm not gonna lie, like they're not that substantive. They're entertaining to watch since they're not in a saga. You're not gonna really get like a good a feel at the end of them, like, oh, okay, that all makes sense. Like you watch them all, they're all completely different, and ultimately, if you're a Star Wars fan, you like them. If you're not a Star Wars fan, then it might not do much for you. You know, it might just be another show to watch that won't make any sense, especially if you don't know any of the storylines. So
yeah, they're art projects too. Like they're kind of, they're kind of just here's a short concept of like what if it, like, here's this beautiful style. Like that third episode, like style was really cool, like this kind of retro futuristic sort of style. Yeah. The story was decent. There was just like anytime they were talking, they were just like explaining the story. But but it was fun. It's like they're all these little different art projects. The second episode was like this little, cutesy kind of like, weird story. But I had to take myself out of like Star Wars in order to enjoy it the right way. Yeah. I was like, okay, none of this is canon. I can't be mad about how this works and how that works. I had to kind of put aside a couple moments of nerd rage, like that's not how kyber crystals work, like that kind of stuff. Like, so I was like, all right, calm down. It's just they're fun visual art projects.
Yeah, and it was very very, very deep into the kyber crystal lore, which I actually thought was dope as well. I think the kyber crystals has I think that if I'm not mistaken, it might have just been fan art, but it looked like they alluded to the potential for the Ahsoka Tano storyline in her live action story to be centered around the kyber crystals. I think that there's something there. The kyber crystals have been a big deal in the animated series in Clone Wars, and I think it was barely mentioned in Bad Batch, but now of course heavily in Visions. I think it's just time for them to kind of get a little bit more play in the actual live action universe as well. But we won't spend too much time on that. I definitely recommend watching it. It's not going to take up your whole week, Stephanie. I know Stephanie wears a lot of hats. I don't know if y'all knew this, but she is the founder of the Black Improv Alliance, as well as the Black Student Union at every white campus in the United States. She actually feeds baby goats on the weekends, all black goats, for those that I didn't know. And she doesn't feed any other goats, you know what I'm saying? She started the first improv black movement to space, which is actually launching their campaign in cohesion with Virgin. And let me stop. She does a lot, is all we're trying to say, and we don't want to sit there and act like she doesn't have a lot going on.
All I'm gonna say is watch out for old Willie Shatner. He might be up there, and we know how smooth Willie. He likes all flavors. So any black women that happen to be in space, Willie is back. Willie is back on the prowl. Just be aware. Just be aware.
I got it. That's Captain Kirk for those of y'all who are not in the Star Trek universe. All right, cool. So we're going to go ahead and start wrapping things up, man. We've been trying to do this 2-hour cap thing. Of course, it's hard when we got so much to talk about after a whole week. But I will say a couple things. And then, Steph, I don't know if you got a question for us or not this week. Feel free to throw it out there. We got a few minutes left. I would like to close not this moment, but with a trailer. So stay around. This trailer's for a new show that just came out this week that has been, previewed and been kind of teased, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like this show is I think Tyrone is going to shit.
Love it,
bro. You're gonna love this show.
You're gonna love it.
So we're gonna talk about that in a second. I wanted to give my real quick evaluation of Shang-Chi, because I did get a chance to see it finally this week.
Okay.
And I have to just say, I ain't gonna spend too much time. I loved it. I thought it was dope as shit. I could find very little wrong with it. Awkwafina's role was I mean, it was prevalent, but it wasn't. I ain't gonna lie. If there is a complaint that I have, it would probably be that I didn't think that anybody, with the exception of Michelle Yeoh, really killed their roles in terms of acting. I think that the acting was a little subpar.
Tony.
No, Michelle.
The father. His name.
Yeah, him too. Yeah, and him, the father.
Yeah,
the dude who was actually
Jung or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He killed his role.
You're absolutely right. But yeah, he was definitely, him and his and Michelle Yeoh, I think were the best actual actors in the whole movie.
And Trevor.
Yeah, don't forget about Trevor Slattery.
Trevor.
Ben Kingsley.
Trevor.
Oh yeah.
I'm not actually.
I forgot that name. Yeah, the Mandarin.
Stephanie's back too, by the way.
He was a good surprise to see. See, I'm glad I didn't watch the previews. You know what I'm saying? And had I watched them, I probably would have been a little spoiled.
Well, they didn't drop that in the previews at all until like weeks after the movie. Like they didn't put him on anything.
Oh well.
Yeah, that was a surprise for everybody.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
If I had watched the previews, I probably would have thought that what's his name had a greater role. Abomination had more of a role. I love the inclusion of Wong, but not the over inclusion of Wong. I like that it was done just tastefully enough to like, let's put all these Asian characters together and poop a doop, Asian salad. I like the fact that it was done in a manner that was respectful. I mean, like, because you could have easily seen them being like, hey, Wong, hey, you should be in it. And they was like, we'll drop a little Wong in that bit, but we ain't finna make it all about Wong, goddamn, know what I'm saying? I love the fact that it was in an era that was not that has not been explored by us yet in the realm of magic. Most of Marvel stuff is powers. I got it like this. There's an explanation. Shit was just magic. Like you went to it. It was like for me, it was like never-ending story in the MCU. You know what I'm saying? It was like Lion meets Witch in the Wardrobe meets never-ending story meets Kung Fu Hustle. With all due respect, and I loved it. The fight scenes completely ridiculous. I love that it kept going. There were very few lulls. I don't remember being a point where I'm like, all right, let's get to the like. It was always moving to the next action scene. They would put a little bit of heart in it, and then they move right to the next action scene. So I dug it. I really loved the episode. The scene on the train. That fight scene was completely ridiculous. And I thought all of the fight scenes were dope, and agreed that the two best actors were the father and the sister, the father and the aunt. But other than that, man, I'm geeked up about a part 2 coming out of I'm geeked up about his inclusion in the MCU. Honestly,
very likable character. He's very
likable. I love now. There was some talk about. I ain't gonna lie. There was some talk about this the soundtrack being.
It was dope.
Soundtrack was dope, but there was some talk about it being what was it? I don't know. It's maybe cultural.
Yeah, it was cultural. It was like culturally not appropriate or whatever.
There was some cultural appropriation. Yeah. I actually watched the movie expecting it to be the case, and I saw that there was one hip hop song played in it, and then one at the very end. Yeah. So I was waiting for it to be like a Spike Lee soundtrack, and it was literally only one scene, and I think that frankly that scene was meant to represent the generation that the music wasn't meant to depict. Could it have been a Gangnam Style? Sure, you know what I'm saying. Could they have put a K-pop song on? Absolutely. But I think what they were trying to represent was the setting, which they were in a gritty San Francisco area. in modern day. So it was meant to show like, and then I was like, okay, so this must be the music they play all the. That was the only I was waiting for because I was ready to be mad. Like I was like, yo, man, let them play another goddamn Drake song in this bitch. But it was that one song, and then at the very end, I think there was some loud drum beats in what would be some would consider like a traditional Asian song. So I think even the sounds were dope. I loved the incorporation of Awkwafina as a regular chick. I'm not really thrilled on her acting. I think that she doesn't act that well. I didn't think that she was going to win any Academy Awards off of this part. But I digress. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Frankly, I'd say it's worth a second watch because it was really that dope to me. Oh, yeah. So just because I wasn't able to contribute to the conversation a couple weeks ago, I just wanted to throw my little 2 cents in and be like, yo, that shit was dope as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
It's echoed. It is echoed over here, brother. It is.
I think that was the only positive note you had, like this whole podcast.
He was waiting for that.
Me and Lisa, in the comments want to know like what happened on the boat because you came back with so high animosity. just throwing that out there. We love you. He was like all sweet and innocent on the boat, and came back. He was like, shit's trash. Everything's fucking trash. Like just straight up.
I mean, it wasn't me. It's DC. I mean,
I know,
you take DC out of the equation, then I'm perfectly. Look, I've loved everything up until this week's What If. I liked it, and so I ain't gonna lie. You do get, a little tied up, and when you're in a room with a low ceiling and you can hear the people in all sides of you fucking, and hear this stuff. Yeah, but that's what being stuck on a boat for, and different sets of people, by the way, because that's 3 different cruises. So that's about, and the roof, this side and this side. That's and let's not even consider like across the hall. It gets crazy. So
earplugs and headphones and musk.
Yeah, there were many a night where I was basically bringing my iPad real close to my ear so I didn't hear that. What it is, Hope. What's up? Like, there was a lot of that shit going on, but just to kind of throw that in there, man.
I do have a question though, Vince.
I'll take your question, but I just want to say real quick, I completely disagree with my man who the other week said Shang-Chi was the absolute worst movie in the MCU. Dan Long, longtime friend, comedic guy down South Florida. You and Menda, good people, but it was definitely not the worst movie in the MCU, at least as far as I'm concerned. I'm curious as to what I actually would think the worst movie in the MCU was, but it's definitely not Shang-Chi. What's up, Tally?
I mean, you and 93% of Rotten Tomato viewers also agree that it's
still holding there too. It's
still holding its weight. Going a month and a half in already. But I did have a question. My question is, what is Awkwafina's role moving forward in the MCU? Because they like when Wong came and got him, he got them. He said,
right,
you guys, like, I'm confused as what she's bringing to the forefront. She has no powers. She just learned to shoot a bow and arrow a day ago. And I'm just like, what is she an Avenger? Like, what?
Oh, wow.
Are they going to train her to be the next Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Hell no. That'd be hilarious. I feel like in my mind, I'm like, okay, Wong didn't know what Shang-Chi looked like when he showed up. Like, he was like yelling it like, hey, Shang-Chi here. Like, he was waiting for somebody to be like, I'm Shang-Chi. You know what I mean? So it's very possible that he thought that was his sister because he has not met either of them. So he might have been like, oh yeah, you kick ass too. So you come because we can use your help. So maybe she'll get there and be like, oh yeah, I'm just the comic relief. And he'll be like, all right, time for you to go. But that's in a perfect world. I think what's going to happen is going to be more like how Michael Pena is in Ant-Man, and he's just like even though I don't think she's at that level.
Yeah. I'm about to say, like Michael Pena, like him and the rest of the crew, they at least are like giving you information as you order.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what is her role really gonna be? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
is she the driver? Is she Kato? Is she Kato?
No,
right.
Tom Holland has I can't remember his name right now. Ned. You know how like Tom Holland has Ned? She's gonna be his Ned.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the only difference is I think that as I'm looking here, I haven't, full disclosure, I'll tell you what I know and what I don't know. And I didn't read any Shang-Chi Shang-Chi comics. I'm not up to par on Shang-Chi lore, so I don't want to just sit and act like I am. But if I would say that they did give her a role, and she was firing off those bow and arrows. She was the one who did fire that last bow and arrow into the dark, what they call its neck or whatever, after just a few days, after 1 day of training. So I mean, that's a little weird, but this is a world of magic in which there are big like cowardly lion-shaped like animals, like, you know, roaming around and shit. So I would say that she may find herself being one of those roles where she's insignificantly she's just insignificant enough to be significant. You know what I'm saying? Like where she's I mean, if she wasn't in the movie, then she wouldn't have had, you know, they would have still been fighting this thing according to them, because that arrow couldn't have been fought. They killed off the dude, you know what I'm saying, who was the best archer or whatever, right before they fired that last, you know, dart into his neck or whatever. So I feel like she may start to have more powers, kind of in the same way. If you remember Iron Fist, the show, which was trash. If we're gonna talk about the MCU, let's talk about Iron Fist being trash. But remember, Danny Rand started off with the I forget her name, but his girlfriend, what, Yin? Colleen. Oh, how dare I say Yin? I'm so sorry. Please, all Asian cultures. I did not mean to generalize. But Colleen started off being like, you know, sidekick type. And if I was to presume if there was going to be an Iron Fist 3, I would say that she was going to be the actual Iron Fist. Yeah. And she ends up going from Padawan to actual master. So this could be one of them instances. Am I here for it? No, I don't want to see Awkwafina because she can't act for shit. You know what I'm saying? It was bad enough watching Shang-Chi struggle to act. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, he was good, but I didn't think that he didn't give me. I went to, you know, acting school vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows his martial arts and was able to balance the two.
Which
you know
is what you want.
And he was well trained, and it's already harder. Can we just talk about for a second, not in too depth, because I know we've already gone over our mark, but the fact that martial arts as an acting genre is got to be the hardest. Like imagine like freaking Awkwafina shows up for an audition and has to read some lines. You know, this dude Danny Simu Liu, yeah. This motherfucker has to show up, do a drop kick, do a whole American Ninja Warrior obstacle course. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then even then, not get the part. You know, I mean, we have to admit that this is a much superior role to play when you have to mix your. Now we can talk about you know MMA and Michael B. Jordan playing, you know, Creed and, you know, give me a break, man. When you got to lift your foot over your head and shit, and like, you know, all of that choreography, and then get your lines and hit your mark. Come on, bro. That's why I got so much more respect for Michelle Yeoh, for Jackie Chan, for you know, even Jet Li, even though I think he uses wires way too much. Like for them to have to like be trained in martial arts and be able to be a half decent actor, I think says a lot. I also think that this was Marvel's version of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon a little bit in some of the stuff, which was dope for them to include Michelle Yeoh. So I've said my piece. I think we already did like an hour or two on Shang-Chi before, but I didn't get a chance to contribute. But that is, oh wait, what's this? Oh, Sirius Black strapping this is an actual character. Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, so we can look forward to that, man. I'm seriously Black.
It makes sense with Colleen though, because when you watched her on the Iron Fist, her martial arts choreography was better than anybody else's on the show.
Yeah,
so it makes sense. Like she actually had skills with Awkwafina. She is technically a Ned, and like you never saw Tony like, hey, you guys come. You know, like, yeah, I know you're his best friend, so you guys come. Like that. That's why I was like, it was kind of odd when you know Wong was like, all right, you guys come. Like, you know what I mean? He didn't say, because he knew who Shang-Chi was at that point when he asked, and he was like, I'm Shang-Chi, you know what I'm saying? And it was like he could have been like, all right, I need you to come with me. He didn't, and
like he knew
stay behind.
He knew who Shang-Chi was, but they hadn't met yet. So he was like, he didn't know, like, you know, he didn't know him by sight. He wasn't like, hey, you like come with me. He was like, Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi, and he's like, so I still think maybe he just got it wrong. Maybe he was like, you're not the one I wanted. Get out of here. Go back to work.
The two
like,
of you
I'll
are
see you next
Shang-Chi?
time. Yeah.
Come on, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I sincerely love the way that they included Wong on this. Like I thought it was brilliant, having them basically spar him and Abomination in that battle, in that ring. And I actually like I will say that the sister, she was a good actress too. I thought she was way better than Simu Limu. And even her martial arts. Simu Limu. Simu Limu. Simu Limu.
To the man's name.
Change her name. But yeah, I thought it was dope. I even liked the pacing of the timeline, how they didn't give you too much at once. It wasn't an origin story, and then they gave you the rest of the plot. Like they gave you a little bit of origin, and they gave you the plot, then they gave you a little bit of origin, gave you the plot, gave you a little bit of origin. Well done movie. I think that it deserves the accolades it's getting, and I can't wait for another edition of it. And I can't wait to see him in other shows and other movies. But let's go ahead and start wrapping up. We do want to show this Foundation trailer, but before we do, Steph, did you have a question for us this week, man? We didn't, we're so used to you, now asking questions and stuff that make us think. What you got on the docket this week, Steph's question?
I do. I enjoyed the idea behind what if you took a character who was very pivotal in another character's life and removed them. What would that situation look like? I didn't feel like they handled it particularly well because it didn't seem like moving Loki out of the household really changed Thor that much. But I thought, what would be a scenario that you would love to see a particular team or a battle or instance, someone or a group of people who, if you removed this particular influence from their lives, it would be interesting to see how things would have turned out.
Boom, 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 boom.
Do you have an answer, Steph?
I do.
You want to start us off? Yeah.
Yeah, set us off.
I would love to see the X-Men without Professor X ever being involved. I feel like they would still find each other somehow. I feel like that was just destiny, but what would that look like without Xavier's leadership?
It would look like Magneto.
The Brotherhood.
Magneto was the other force.
Striker. It would look like
but I get what you're saying though. But I mean, that's a pretty. Are they really the X-Men without Professor X? I mean, his name is in the name.
I feel like Storm and Wolverine and Rogue and Cyclops, I feel like they would have found each other somehow, and maybe they would have been like a street gang, but I just, they might have had like a tree house instead of a mansion.
Oh, God.
But I feel like they would have crewed up somehow, and I would love to see it.
Okay.
What the low budget X-Men look like.
Low budget X-Men, I like that.
I'll jump on this and we can go around this. All right. So basically the question is like, what team would we want to see without a certain character or not team, but just what character we could see without certain influences? I'd like for mine to be without my landscape artist outside of my door right now. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but of course, always fresh with the live scenarios. I'm a little curious as to what Superman, and I'm not a DC guy, but what Superman would have been like if Hattie, instead of being dropped in Kansas, was dropped in Compton.
He would have been Brightburn. He would have been Brightburn.
I mean, we don't know that. We don't know. I mean, we know Brightburn was technically. Oh my God! Last week is the airport. This week is my own house. What the fuck? Goddamn. Look, I think that Brightburn was also dropped in some suburban outskirt area, right? I'm talking about if you took Superman and put him in the hands of Ice Cube's dad from Friday. Bang, 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 bang.
He would have been Brightburn. He would have ran Compton.
I think that he would be like, he would be Craig, but he don't need the guns because it's all you need, son. That's all you need. You take a little ass whooping.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Live fight another day.
Right?
You don't think so, Ty? What?
He would have been Debo for sure, bro.
100%.
In Compton, if he was
get your bike.
First of all, I'm gonna show you how this goes. First day of school in Compton for little Superman. He goes to school. He got on his nice little outfit that his mom put him on, you know, and dropped him off. And he gets to school, and the first thing that happens when he gets there is he gets jumped by 3 dudes, and they take his brand new sneakers. They take everything, his lunchbox with all his food in it. They whoop his ass, and he goes home and tells his mom and dad. And the difference between Martha and Jonathan Kent was now you don't have a Martha and Jonathan. You now have Ronisha and Kareem. And Kareem is going to tell little baby Superman, little bit like you better not let nobody else take your lunchbox or your shoes. When them boys come and get you tomorrow, you give them a Superman punch to the forehead, and that will be the start of his kingpin career, because he will no longer take shit from anybody. At all, including the teachers. So don't correct little Superboy either, because you will get your shit fucked up in the classroom in front of everybody, and ain't nothing. Who you gonna call?
Yeah, but if Superman came up off Normandy and Western, you know what I'm saying, around here, around Normandy and Western, you know what I'm saying, then I think that Craig, that Debo would have gave him that $200 from next door. You know what I'm saying? there wouldn't have been no running from Big Perm. You know what I'm saying, at the end of that episode. And he still wouldn't have had to use no weapons, because they would have been greater. But I am a little curious as to whether or not, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, he would have hit, you know, Nia Long.
Miss Parker. No, he would no.
Miss Parker.
First of all, if you Superman, you do not, and before I say this, Nia, I love you. I love you, Nia. I want you to know, Nia, I love you. But if it was you or Miss Parker, Miss Parker,
oh yeah, Miss Parker, yeah.
And I'm Superman. Yeah, Miss Parker gonna get it, and I'm not even sneaking. I'm not gonna. If her husband or man come home, he just comes home. I'm doing what I gotta do, and Miss Parker, you better go talk to him. That's it. Like that's. I mean, come on, man. You Superman in Compton. You don't give 2 fucks about nothing, man. Nothing. Nothing.
It just would have taken wrong.
That's that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it took a bad strain of Krypton in the blunt to kind of fuck him all up. But what you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I feel like this is a baby boy, like, you know, mashup right now. You know what I'm saying? Like when Snoop Dogg gets out of prison and he's like, "Hey, baby, I'm home." You know, like
fuck your fort.
Yo,
real hard in the phone.
Yo.
All right, yo, yes. Do you have a scenario at all? I know this is a complex question, but
can I? I'm sorry. My in-laws were calling me at the same time Stephanie asked the question, so I had to it's random when my father-in-law calls me, so I had to answer it, because if he's calling me, there's a fucking fire.
I think the gist of the question is basically, did you pick a character in any universe and take somebody, remove an element of their story,
okay,
or change it somehow? What would you choose to? What would you want to see? Stephanie wanted to see.
Wait, no, I heard that Professor X, the mansion in the treehouse. I heard that.
Yeah, the X-Men without Professor X. That was it. Come together and run that.
I want to see Superman go.
I got one. A Justice League without Batman.
Okay, I was thinking that too, because he's supposed to be the leader.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Superman's the leader, but it's his money, right? Like everything is with his money, right. You know.
Superman just got that.
Yeah. That would be interesting. Or would it?
Is it just all
Justice League is already?
But that's how they do it in the DC movie universe. In the ultimately, like before, weren't they all kind of like hanging out in like some other kind of like Superman Fortress kind of deal or whatever?
It was called the Watchtower.
Was it the Watchtower? I thought it was the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, it was
the Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
But still, Batman.
I think that. Well, that one might have been publicly funded. I don't know. That one might have been some earmarks from the legislative
eyesore?
session.
Yeah,
It's
so
like,
masks are required.
eyesore on the highway out here in Orlando.
Oh, the I4 eyesore joint, the overjoint.
And unlike the Avengers, the Justice League actually has more than one billionaire because they have Green Arrow as well.
That's true.
And Green Arrow has a lot of money as well.
He
So,
does.
Well, hold on, the Avengers.
We didn't even see Green Arrow though.
If you include Iron Fist, you know what I'm saying, and Tony Stark, you know,
in the Avengers, Iron Fist.
I mean, I don't know if Iron Fist ever makes it into the Avengers.
He doesn't.
But you know,
not in the MCU anyway. I think there are some.
I think he's in the Young Avengers or something like that. But anyway, Tylene, you got anything to contribute or anything? You know,
I mean, I have a quick answer.
What's up, Tyrone?
My one would be, what if Goose and Nick Fury never met, and what would Nick Fury be like with two eyes?
Oh shit!
That's it. This is a real quick one.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's fucking funny.
That is a good one.
That is a shame that man's whole eye thought it was like some intergalactic sword.
You
fight.
can't. Yeah, you can't go around messing with Flurgans, man. That's not how this world works.
I guess my Flurgan
scratches this shit out. Anything, Tylene? I like I said, I know it's spur of the moment. We normally, throw them out, then come back to them. So, you want to pass? It's all good.
What if Hulk doesn't meet Black Widow?
Oh, she calms him down.
What if Hulk doesn't meet Black Widow? Which version? What are we getting at that point?
Well, I don't know. That's interesting because you could take that two different ways, right? Because in one way, you could say that Black Widow is his peace, what calms him down. But in another way, she also launched his ass off the face of the earth, launching the World War Hulk that we are, well, not just him alone. It was the rest of the Avengers, that decided to launch to kick Hulk, to banish him from Earth, since they can't kill him. So it would be fascinating to see, because I get the sense that in World War Hulk, which I do think we're going to get a live action movie for, actually, hopefully it's the trilogy, in which we're introduced to Gray Hulk and Red Hulk. But I think that when Hulk comes back, oh my God, I don't know if you know this storyline. This is worth reading the comics. When Hulk comes back with his clan, mad as fuck, and not Earth, but the Avengers for kicking him off of Earth. You need Black Widow there. you need Black Widow there to be like, yo, all right, Hulk, remember the good times, and because Hulk is not one to be fucked with, especially when he has his cerebral, his advanced mind now merged to his strength, the strength aspect of it, and is completely cognizant as a full Hulk figure, because Bruce Banner is no longer. That is an interesting scenario if you look at the depth of it. I'll agree. That's dope. So good stuff, man. As always, thanks, Stephanie. Real quick, because we're obviously past the 2 hour mark. I think 2.5 hours is starting to feel natural, but I'm hoping that, who knows, we didn't lose everybody. Let's get into this trailer real quick before we get up out of here. It's a long trailer, but it's definitely one worth watching. This here, guys, is a show that I hope that y'all actually watch. And without saying anything else about it, man, just take a look. Take a look at this trailer, bro, because this shit it came out of nowhere for me. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you The Foundation. Check it out.
When I was a child at the edge of the galaxy, I heard stories about a man who could forecast the future. But the story remained dark to me until many years later, until it became my story. Until it became the only story.
You're familiar with my work, psychohistory?
Every mathematician has read your theory.
It's not a theory. It's the future of mankind expressed in numbers. And the Empire won't like the future I predict.
History is littered with charlatans and false messiahs.
We should kill them. We can murder the men, but what about the movement, brother? Martyrs tend to have a long half-life.
His math was right. The Empire is dying.
Wars will be endless. 1,000 worlds reduced to cinders.
Change is frightening, especially to those in power. But we can soften the fall.
So what's the plan?
Many years from now, if humanity is to climb from the ashes, the coming generations will need the knowledge to build upon, a foundation.
We must preserve only the most essential pieces of civilization. Deciding what is remembered, what is forgotten.
We are now staring down a barrel of a crisis.
This is the plan. I'm not turning around now.
Did y'all see that? I forgot that my shit be fucking up sometimes, man.
I look good.
Yeah, nah,
No,
it was good.
It was good. Okay.
Our
So
facial expressions not good enough for you or something?
no. I wasn't even watching. Nah, I just remember last time I watched, I was like, "Yeah, so what y'all think?" And it was like, "Well, I couldn't really see it. It was choppy. It was it's like, oh shit, my bad." Yeah,
Ooh,
I think you were on the
I'm pretty
boat.
sure
I
we
think you
don't
were
talk
on the
about
boat. I think you were on the boat when that happened.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Steph, you haven't seen that. First impressions.
It looked interesting, but also hopeless. There was no point. It was like, there's going to be wars. Everything's going to be destroyed. I was waiting for the unless, but it didn't come.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I don't know if I'll watch if it's just going to be wars and they can't fix it.
Okay. Yes. What's your impression?
Oh my god, that was so great, Stephanie. Oh man. Stephanie pretty much, like kind of took what I was gonna say. I mean, it looks interesting, but, and that's a kind of big but there, it kind of looks like, what was that fucking show that you made us watch on Netflix that you were like raving about?
Oh, Mortal?
Oh my god.
Oh nah, it's definitely not
like
that.
Mortal?
Oh, it's definitely not that.
It's not like that. It's
Just
not like
mean
that.
like-
As
Oh, not
that
at all.
bad. I'm just saying.
Like,
but
oh,
it
you
just,
mean like
it
the
didn't
the
look
quality?
like it looked like it was gonna be dry, like how that show is. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
there's
wow.
there wasn't gonna be much. Like it was gonna be interesting, but just kind of dry.
Okay.
Like there was gonna be a lot of slow parts. A lot of
Okay.
because Ty was already on his phone. I looked at my phone. Okay.
Well, Ty's seen it
Stephanie
already.
was like, "When is this shit gonna end?" I was watching her face. All right, and Tyrone was just like, "Okay."
I think that's Tyrone's face.
That's his face.
He was just like,
That's his
it wasn't intrigued at all. Like none of our faces were.
No, I was paying attention. I don't know what anybody else's faces look like because I was watching the trailer.
Right.
So
Likewise.
to get so I could judge the trailer.
Jab.
Yes.
Subtle jab.
No, I thought it looked pretty damn great. Like it looks like the scope of it looks huge. It looks like they're really trying to go for something like huge, like kind of the like you guys
Epic.
mentioned The Expanse a few times. Yeah, epic. Like how a lot of times people are dealing with big ideas and don't really know how to really visually portray those ideas. Looks like they might have nailed this. I'm excited about that. Great cast.
Yes.
That cast is awesome.
Yes.
And just overall, I'm all right. Fine, I'll get Apple TV.
Just a little FYI, they have been kind of teasing this show for like a year now. So like this is something that they are really leaning into with this, and I kind of get the when you like what you said, Tyrone, like the magnitude of this show is going to be on the lines of a Game of Thrones type of
It looks like that's what they're trying to replace Game of Thrones.
They're definitely trying to go on that type of scale. And I watched the first episode. Visually, oh my, it's I mean, like, you're just like, wow. And you can see a lot. They took you can tell a lot of their material is coming from Star Wars. Like you can see like the way that the ships look. Certain ships look like ships that are from Star Wars. And man, this I hope that the storyline is sound. The first episode, I will say, yes, there were some slow parts in the first episode.
That's all I'm saying. Like visually, I can see that it's going to be dry for me, and I'm not in it. But I will attempt it at some point. Okay, after hearing all you guys rave about it, I will attempt it. Yeah.
Well, I'll just say this real quick, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up because some of us got to get up out of here anyway. There's 2 episodes already currently aired that you could watch. And this kind of gives me, like we said before, it's like Star Wars meets The Expanse meets maybe Game of Thrones. You see that old boy in there. If you notice, the dude from Guardians of the Galaxy, who also was in Lord of the Rings, finally gets a role that he can actually show his actual face. There's 3. I like that if you watch it, there's a concept of royalty staying in the bloodline. Instead of them like in the olden days where they would marry bloodlines, they just clone the king. Like they just, the emperor gets cloned and like he raises himself. It's the weirdest thing. Like
what the fuck?
So they're called Day, Dusk, and Dawn. And Day is the current ruler. Dusk is the former ruler who has cloned Day, and then Dawn is the youngest who was the clone of Day, and he raises himself. You know what I'm saying? And it's the craziest shit. And it's the hierarchy. It has a Hunger Games element to it. I think that it's worth the while. It gives us the depth, the visual shit that we love. Which I think that was one of the few things we love. The Expanse, but you could tell sometimes that TGI was a little faltery.
Bite your tongue, sir.
Apple TV does not disappoint when it comes to
their shows
aspect of it.
And their shows are really good. Like we don't really talk about like Ted Lasso and but Ted Lasso is a really good show. Truth Be Told is a really good show. The Servant Servant is a really good show.
Really good.
Oh my gosh, they got some really good shows on Apple Plus that you should tap into for real.
I agree 100%. I think Apple TV Plus or whatever it is, I think that it's of an upper echelon of these streaming services. And I think that for those of y'all who do get the free trial, sorry Verizon users, sorry T-Mobile, for y'all AT&T folks should have a year. It might be worth exploring that. But we'll go ahead and get up out of here, man. We'll be back next week with even more stuff to discuss because as you know, Venom pops next week, boys. So we will be discussing Venom from this seat. I don't know if y'all are seeing it from home or y'all gonna wait and swipe or whatever. My Fire Stick, but that's definitely something we gonna talk about, man. So on the way out, if there's nothing else to say, I will just take this liberty to say thank you all very much, of course, for watching on a weekly basis. Please make sure you like, follow, share, and go check out our audio sites with the MP3s on Amazon, on iHeart, all the other stuff. And like what's the other one? Podcast, Spotify. Google Podcast, Spotify, all that good stuff.
Everything. You can find it everywhere.
And as we always say, as a little saying I got from my man Ty, be your authentic self. If you ain't being yourself, what you being fake? And in all things, if you a true geek, then don't be afraid. Let that geek flag fly. We'll holler at y'all later. Biatch!
Fighter 2, I just really hate Zangief, only Ken and Ra 2. I find it hard to beat Blanca, keep a wee ninja hanging and the uncle album banging. If you negative in energy, then stay out the vicinity. Yeah, them niggas over there. Yeah, now look at what I